going to get started with our morning work. And you have 3 assignments, 3 tasks, should I say, to do in the next 10 minutes. Number 1, we'll need you to take your name tag, put your name on it, and put it on. If you notice, it has a number, and that number correlates with this little shoe bag type thing here. We thank you for coming in and placing your cell phone in that bag. No, not your real cell phone. You have okay, we're treating you just as we would our students, okay? You have a pretend cell phone, and what you would do with your cell phone, okay, you're number 17. Okay, what you would do is take your cell phone, the back side of it, put it into 17. And then that's task number 2. Task number 3 is to fill out the motivation assessment scale. Before we get started on the motivation assessment scale, Connie, can you give them some more instruction as to exactly what to do there?
Yes. Oh, let me get one that nobody's using. Okay. You're going to put your name and the date and skip down and put the setting is going to be a classroom setting. Don't worry about the other.
What did you say was the classroom setting?
Just say classroom setting. Normally you would specify if it was reading, math, science, anything like that. All right, so you have some questions and you have a rating scale. You're going to answer the question by circling which number represents a student that you've had difficulty with. Envision one, just one student. The first time I did this, I was thinking of my general overall students. No, one student, get them in your head, and only think of that student. And answer all the questions, rating them according to the question. Then turn on the back. You're going to continue to do that. But down at the bottom, you see that you have 4 columns. Under sensory, you have 1. That means for question number 1, what number did you put? Question number 5, 9, and 13. You're going to put those numbers there. Then when it has total score, of course, you're just going to total that column. And then the mean, I'm a math teacher, so you're going to divide that by 4 because there are 4 questions. And then stop. Go do the rest. Okay?
Okay, 3 tasks.
Any questions? Wait. Any questions about the assessment? All right.
3 tasks. Name tag, cell phone, and motivation assessment scale. You have 10 minutes.
And try not to do the same student. That's right. I know some of y'all. That's what I was saying. Did y'all do that?
Who are you? You're not.
Savannah.
Oh, okay, so you're not doing it.
Perfect.
His grandparents live down the street.
Guys, the reason why I told you to put your name is I don't want the student's name on there. Normally, you would put the student's name.
And if
That
I
may be
told
confusing
Betty,
to you.
Grandpa's pool is down.
Okay.
That means the boys are not
Okay,
there.
where it
was
says
supposed to be
name, that
somebody
normally would be the student that you're targeting,
Mom.
that assessment on.
Okay.
I just don't want that student's name because I do know most of the students. Just
No, I'm
saying.
talking about the other one.
Oh, class, I just loved the way you were all focusing and working as instructed. I'm gonna do sparkles from the unearned jar to the earned jar.
We're late.
Just sign in.
If your name is not, excuse me.
I'll find you a seat and I will come and tell you what's going on.
Okay.
First thing is that we need you to fill out your name tag right here. Nice and big, and please put, if you don't have like LHS, KHS, or whatever, it just helps me to, because I go into your schools a lot. If you would just put that on your, at the bottom
Of your name tag.
of your
or
name
paper?
tag, that would help, yeah. And I'm going to use your phone. Okay. You That is the pocket you're gonna go put your thankfully phone in. You're gonna turn it backwards and put it in there, and then you're gonna do this. Don't worry about this up here right now, just read the questions, circle, rate, think of one child and one behavior.
Okay.
Okay? And then finish it over here. Like the answer is number one, it goes here, it is, you know, and then you put the total score, and then you divide that total.
Hey, class, we have about
That's
3
it.
minutes.
And stop. Okay, you got about 2
This is my
minutes.
mom. She's from Jasper. She teaches in Jasper, and I had talked to Sonia, and she said it was okay if she came. So.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Very good.
I'll turn on your phone for you.
Did you hear?
Did you get it?
Did you do it? Oh, y'all took these.
You're
Yeah.
finished, right?
Okay.
Denise was supposed to come too last night and Denise still there.
I said today's his first day to go out to drive. He hasn't driven since the surgery. So he's gonna go have my tires rotated. But he's doing good. But we found out someone else that we know was having a brain tumor removed Monday. But they don't know if it's just a, you know, Dr. Bassett.
When you finish,
Buddies was.
Go ahead and take a moment and write down our information. We have discovered over the last couple of days that, oh my gosh, we have so much to share with you. At the end of the day, we're frantic to get it all in, and we want to make sure that you have our names, our emails, and phone numbers. Those are our personal cells. Because if you need help, after we finish this workshop today, which we anticipate you will, if you will give us a call, we will make arrangements to come to your school and to assist.
Before we got the staples out, they bothered him, so he kept doing this, you know. And when we went, she said, "You can touch it." So we just finished antibiotics because she said if it doesn't clear up, sometimes if it gets in it.
Okay, class, we have about 1 minute.
Can I go call away?
Come on.
There's Marcella. I was just fixing to call to see if you were okay. Just put your name over here and LPS. She was lost. We all are lost. Thank goodness we're found.
Drink some food in the thing over there.
Okay, class, you may put your pencils down at this time. Okay. Ladies, I'd like to welcome you to the Big Thicket Adaptive Behavior Center. We will try to give you a break in the morning. Well, we will give you a break in the morning and in the afternoon. And we would let you know that you are feel free to explore. There is a restroom in each of those classrooms, as well as back here and to the right. We are an adaptive behavior center here. Our students are all special ed students with, how do you say, documented behavior issues and interventions that were not successful on the regular campus, and our committee has decided to place them here. It's a very big deal to have a kid placed here. The older they are, the more difficult it is to break those established behaviors. So we like to get them much younger. We can get them back on your campus, and they are successful. The first adaptive behavior center that I was a part of opening in Liberty County, we started with 10 students, and all 10 of them have returned within 1 school year and 1 6-week period. They were returned to, all 10 of them were returned to their campuses and have been successful without any issues since then. So we know that the program that we were taught works, and now we've implemented it here in Hardin County. However, our kids are all 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and we have a senior this year. Again, once we get them, it's very difficult for them to be placed back on their campus. Now, I will say that because of that, we're very, very serious about what you do in your classrooms. In other words, we don't put a kid over here just because he gets on your nerves, okay? What we do is we work with you to help you with your really high needs kids. We help you to implement strategies and data collection, teach you how to collect data, and we go through that whole gamut with you before it's time to make that decision as to whether or not they come here.
Can I interrupt you?
You go, girl.
This has to be video.
It is. That was the next thing I needed to tell you, is that Connie and I are a part of a class, I guess, where we'll be behavior coaches by the end of the year. We started it the 1st of January, and we will end it at the end of December. And part of our assignment this summer, in lieu of another week in Austin, is to facilitate a training on behavior. And I don't know that we would have done this anyway, you know, regardless of the class. So it's a win-win for us. Now, I will tell you, we're just going to ignore it. We're just going to be Connie and Penny like we normally are, which means that we'll run our training like a class, and you are our students. And we'll try to go back between the role of you being a student, you being a teacher. It might be a little confusing at times, but I'm here to tell you, if you misbehave or exhibit a behavior that is not one of our expectations, we're going to address that in a manner as if we are role models for you. So please don't be offended. It actually makes it kind of fun. Connie will probably go around to some of you, whisper in your ear, and ask her to be your her volunteer to do something naughty. Okay? So, and I shouldn't say naughty. Again, that is not an expectation, is not an expected behavior. We don't use appropriate and inappropriate anymore. We use expected and not expected. And so, but anyway, let's get a rocking and a rolling. Tell you a little bit about ourselves. I come with 27 years of experience in education. Miss Carissa here was one of my teachers, students, I believe, in 6th grade math. And Chris, I'm so proud to see you here and as a teacher, darling. After being in the classroom, math and science and social studies, and I've been at all levels, elementary, intermediate, or middle school and high school. I went on to become an administrator, and I started off at Vidor High School. I went from a little old tiny school like Kuntz to Vidor High School, and when I was there at Vidor, I guess my eyes were truly opened about so many things that I did not realize while I was in the classroom. I will tell you that I'm old school because I was raised by a mom whose dad is right off the boat from Germany after World War I. And my mother was very, very loving, very, very kind, but very, very stern. We had expectations, and we had to follow them. I had dyslexia and ADHD as a child, and my mother did not coddle me. She did not enable me. She didn't tell me what I had either. By God, this was her expectation, and I was supposed to live up to that. And so I have done that with my own boys, one of which is ADHD and dyslexic, as well as Asperger's. Well, I got serious about this behavior after this one incident. Well, there's several incidents, but this major incident that I want to tell you about. And I tell you about it, it's rather embarrassing. It is very humbling, but it's the truth. And if it will help open your eyes, then I'm all for it. So there I am, the first day of school, probably my 3rd year in as an assistant principal at Butler High School, and I'm on lunch duty. I'm the freshman principal. We have a principal for each grade level. And as a principal, I'm doing lunch duty, and I noticed that there is a senior in the freshman lunch, and he's causing issues. He's trying to start a fight. I talk with him, get everything settled down, find out that he gets off at 11:30. He's a half a day kiddo, gotta leave campus, going to work, whatever. I escort him to the front to wait on his ride. It's not a few minutes later, he's back at lunch. It's the second lunch by now. Again, hey man, what do you not understand about wait out front for your ride? Escort him back out there. Okay, now the third time it made me mad. Now I'm a little ticked off. I consider that disrespect. I personally, actually. And so, well, my mom hadn't come pick me up. Well, that's no reason for you to be back here. Come on, let's go to my office and call your mom. We sit down in my office. I got the phone. What's your phone number? Oh, I don't know. Really? I just take out my walkie-talkie and I call his principal. 112. Your boy don't know his phone number. My 3-year-old knows his phone number. And I knew right then, well, after that came out, the look on that boy's face, and when he had gotten up, that it was going to be, oh God, it's coming now. I had the cute dress on and the cute shoes, little skirt, and it's the first day of school, and I'm thinking I'm all that in a bag of chips, and I'm thinking my mind changes to what kind of underwear am I wearing, because I'm going down. And so what I do is I just take a deep breath and I tense up, because I know it's gonna hurt, and I deserve it. So let's go. I cannot tell you what happened. I just know that we met in the middle of my office, and I'm back up against this wall on the door, and he's against this wall. My office wasn't real wide. He takes the Dr. Pepper bottle that he had on my desk, and he goes to throw it at me. And I duck just in time to meet it before it explodes on the door behind me as the police are coming in. We have a school district police, and here comes 2 of them, and then shortly after, they're after 3. And to take this boy down in my office, of course it's totally destroyed my office. And what the boy did was he grabbed one of the police officers in a not so nice place, and that was assault. And the young man was expelled for the remainder of his senior year. That was day 1, so he was expelled for the whole year because of your boy don't know his phone number. My 3-year-old knows his phone number. So what I say that to tell you that the number 1 way to deal with a child is your attitude toward that child. You're going to have to win their heart before you can get to their mind. And you're going to have to develop a relationship with them. If you come, they get yang at the house. They get, sarcasm, all that kind of stuff at the house. They didn't come to school to get it from you. Yes, you are the authority, and yes, you will win. It might not be today, but you're going to get your way. You're just going to have to put your pride to the side. And that was very difficult, being born in 1963 and dealing with the kid of 2005, 6, 7, and then now, and here we are, 2017, and we're seeing a rise in such antisocial behavior that you're seeing more and more adaptive behavior centers opened. You see more and more teachers leaving teaching. Over 50% of them, more than 50% of them don't last 7 years. And so at that, our partner Connie, over 25 years in education.
The majority of that has been in behavior. I have taught, usually in an inclusive setting or a resource setting, math, but I always had the behavior component with my job. I've loved it, thoroughly loved it. That's what keeps me coming back every day, every year. And I'm here to help you. Many of you know me and you see me in your school. If you don't know me personally, I want to get to know you. We all have problems in our classrooms. Just like Penny said, the majority of the things that I'm seeing, and like Penny said again recently, is we're tired. We're tired. The behaviors are different than when most of us started teaching. And so we've got to change with the times. And the majority of our students just need to be heard. We need to give them time to process, and we need to slow it down. When this fast world is spinning so fast out of control, it's time for us to slow down and to listen to our kids. The majority of the time, when I go into a school in a situation, by the time we hear what the child really needed to say, the teacher will say, I had no idea. But the child did try to say it. So, I have to do that. I'm quick to stop a child in the middle of a sentence. I'm quick to, we got to get going. We got to get back on track. We've got to do this. Raise your hand if you have an inclusive person in your support in your classroom. Do any of you have inclusive support in your classroom?
I am the inclusive.
Right. Yeah, Lindsay's got support. It is important that we have collaboration among the teacher and that support in there, and we'll touch on that a little bit today. My focus is mainly going to be on what happens after a situation begins, when you start seeing a behavior surface, and Penny's is pretty much on the interventions before we get there.
Exactly.
So we hope that this workshop will continue and be one of many, and we hope you keep coming back. With that being said, that's where we are.
We're not getting paid to do this. We've done it for 3 days. And we do this because we see a need. We're in all 15 campuses in Hardin County. And we've been in so many different meetings. We've listened to so many different teachers, as well as administrators, as well as parents and their kids. And we just want to help a hurting world. And so you've got so much on your plate just with the curriculum alone. I don't think when you became a teacher you realized that you were signing up to be their parent as well. And that's exactly what has happened. Now, we're going to give you some tools to do that. Got to start with your attitude, number 1. Number 2, your environment. And part of that environment is being uber organized. Everything in our room, when you came in, I think it's a pretty cool place. And of course it's not quite set up the way we want it to do, just like all of you, our classes are getting cleaned. We hadn't got cleaned yet and reorganized and all that kind of stuff during the summertime for the school year to begin. But everything that we do today, everything that we have up on the walls, anything we do with you is all researched based. I have found that we're going to use a word, and I've been doing it all my life. I just didn't have a word for it. I got my own word for it. So you're doing so many of these things and you don't even realize it. But we're going to help you pull it all together. Okay, so while you came in, you have to teach the kids your procedures, your expectations. I throw on the table 2 weeks. You use your first 2 weeks of school to do nothing but procedure. Why I need that 2 weeks? I got stuff to do. We got to start it. I'm telling you. You give it the first 2 weeks, and then, I'm not saying you can't do any academics. It will make your life so much better.
Can I interrupt?
Yes, you go, girl.
All right. When she said make sure you do the academics, take those academics, I suggest
slow, because that's gonna start triggers for our behaviors with those students that aren't ready to do academics, are not at that level where they may be able to do those that you're presenting them. And if you're going too fast, you're gonna miss it. You're gonna
Your
miss
first 2 weeks are about building relationships, establishing your procedures and your expectations, and easing in
Right.
to your academics. Okay, so we had to teach you about putting your cell phones in the pockets. Okay, this is, to me, it is some schools, every school has a different rule. If a school said like Lumberton ISD is BYOD, bring your own device, hey, that's great, but it doesn't fit in my classroom. This is how I'm going to control those devices. Now, Connie, we've been doing it like this, but Connie suggests that we do it this way because
Well, the thing is my husband actually has done some college prep tutoring in some of our other district schools, not our districts, but another district. And they have, actually district-wide, they have a no cell phone policy. That includes no cell phones should be out during instruction time, that is including teachers as well. That there are places where they can have their cell phones given to them, but it is a no cell phone campus, and our district. Well, my husband clearly saw, he's going into work with these kids who are getting ready for college. So these are they're pretty calm kids and eager to learn, self-motivated, and so he was going to just a few schools, and they were actually going by the policy. Some of them were going by the policy with the teachers as well, the teacher-student, as it was supposed to be. And then some of them were going, it's getting hot in here. Some of them were going with just student. Teachers really weren't going by the policy. And my husband was like, I can tell the minute I walk on campus, the atmosphere of those two campuses. And I said, but they're no cell phone. And he says, oh, they're good. Don't get me wrong. I'm thrilled that there's no cell phone. But he says the teachers, what message are we sending the kids when we're in class and the phone rings and it's disrupting my class and I'm going to look at it? Or we have a support person in the classroom who's sitting in a chair because they're not talking. Somebody else is talking. And he says, Connie, the kids notice this. They notice that you're not in tune with what's going on. And the flow of the class stops. He says that's clear. Any open door for misbehavior is going to happen when you're not paying attention to the class. Then he says, I go on campuses where the policy is in place. It's the same district, but a different campus, and nobody's following it. He says, every time. Now, he's having kids that are self-motivated. There were very few days that one of those kids did not get sent to the office. My husband doesn't send kids to the office. That's not his job. But the teacher was so slack. The teacher didn't send them to the office. And the things they were doing were disrespectful and were breaking school policies.
if you're going to break a little rule, if you have no respect for a little rule,
Right.
you're not going to have respect for any rule. If it's a rule because you need to have it for a certain reason.
Right. So real quick, and I know I kind of tried that out, but he made a point. He said, I said, well, do they have any place for them to put their phones? Because we can't say they can't bring a phone to school, but they can have a place for them. And he said those that they could see the phone, their eyes, did I get a message? Did I get a message? Did somebody call? They're constantly looking at it. Now, do we want this visible for the kids? Absolutely. We want it right near, not near the door, because if they go to the bathroom, we don't want them to slip the phone. But we want it near where they can see. If you're teaching up in that area, you should have it somewhere that those kids are constantly being able to see where their phone is. But having it turned around, they can check those messages later.
And if you're worried about a phone being stolen, my goodness, if you've got it up where everybody can see, it's not just one you saw me sneak it out. It's a
Right.
whole class that saw you did sneak it out. Now that said, you've got what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Everything we're telling you is research based. And your phone is to be put up as well. It's no more of the I'm the adult and you're the student because I said so kind of a thing. And so everything that we do, like I say, we're just trying to help you set the tone, build that trust and that relationship with that kiddo. When you came in, there was some peppy music going on. I attended Kagan's Win-Win Discipline and Rich Allen's Green Light Classrooms where they use music. You got your peppy music for transitions and when it's okay to move around. When you're doing independent practice work on your own, you've got a slower type of music. Okay, the science behind it is you've got to get, your brain has to eat, okay? It needs food. What does it eat? Oxygen. You've got to get oxygen to the brain. When you don't, they're nodding off. Okay, you're okay right now. You're kind of interested in what's going on. This afternoon when things get a little bit more tedious, after you've eaten lunch, it's going to be harder for you to focus. Okay, and so we've got to continually have some movement in your day. You may stop and take a brain break. Get up and stretch, cross that midline. There's all kinds of exercises that you can do with the kid in the chair to the peppy type music. But when they are working on the independent practice, you don't want them nodding off. You play music that is about 60 beats a minute, that keeps their heart rate at about 60 beats a minute. They don't know the words. It's not a familiar tune. You can go to kaganpublishing.com and they are going to, they already have CDs done, brain-based music for movement and for focus. And awesome little tool there. I'm playing Mozart for the brain is what I was playing earlier. Green light music, Rich Allen. I suggest you Google Rich Allen, and he's even got like he'll refer you to some websites and stuff like that you can get. It's all green light music, and you got to be kind of careful in the classroom with some of the words and stuff. And I love to play Don't Stop Believing. But then I had to go, whoa, because he met her in a smoky bar or whatever, you know, and smelling, smoky room, smelling of wine and cheap perfume. You know, I kind of want to keep it clean for our kiddos there. Okay, so let us tell you, we'll go back to you as a teacher.
What's the name of the guy again?
Rich Allen, Green Light Classrooms. Okay, now we're going to switch to you as a teacher. Our expectations for training is for you to place all of your electronic devices on silence and vibrate. Please limit your texting to outside of the training room. When we give you breaks or you go to lunch, please return from those promptly. We ask that you participate fully. These are our expectations. Ask questions to increase understanding, be willing to take risks and accept challenges, and respect differences and diversity. I had to do that within my own self because this was the Penny of 1990 and I'm a totally different Penny of 2017. A lot of growth going there. So we got everybody in here is on a different place in their journey and in their mindset. Okay, for school rules, for class rules, you want to keep them as few as you possibly can. We have 4. Be respectful, be responsible, be ready to learn, and be really safe. 4, what about running in the hall? Not being safe. Any rule that you come up with in the class, they got to raise their hand, okay? That's being respectful. Any little sub-little rule you have will fall under one of those 4 categories. And so we only have the kids every day. It's kind of like a mantra. Be respectful, be responsible, be ready to learn, be really safe. I call it my B attitude. Now, I was a principal that did school-wide PBIS, and it just so happens that that our school mascot was the Hornets. Well, okay, for some reason we used bees instead of hornets. You know, if you're a Mustang, your younger kids are stallions or whatever, not stallions, but ponies or whatever. Okay, well, that said, we didn't want to be a pupa or a larva, that's what, so, but we would end it, we had a lot of problems on the buses, okay? You've got bus drivers are usually, on the lower pay scale, less education, and we pay them to keep it between the lines, not to manage 65, 70 kids while keeping it, between the lines. And so we always ended with, and be safe, and be respectful, be responsible, be ready to learn, be really safe, and I think it's behave on the bus, and that was our biggie right there. Okay, so we start off the day with a morning meeting. Okay, and we're kind of going through we got little things all over the room, and we're kind of telling you, that's what we're doing, is telling you about that. So they come in the door, they put their cell phones on, and they do a check-in. Okay, they check in. We've even got
one on your desk.
You got a little check-in on your desk, and what that means, that we call it checking their temperature or their thermometer. And what you're going to do in just a few moments, we're going to get you up because we're getting you moving too. But what we're doing is, you need to tell us whether you're on a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. 1 being feeling happy, things are going well. 2, feeling fine, everything's okay. 3, feeling anxious, something is bothering me. I find myself at a 3 quite a bit. Here I am, I'm teaching kids, but I'm anxious because they don't know what I'm dealing with at home, okay? And so 4 is feeling angry, I need to calm down. 5, feeling like I'm going to explode, I need help to calm down. So what we want you to do is we want you to take out a sticky note. Don't get up until Connie asks your table to get up and put it up on the check-in. But just put your initials on a sticky note that you have in your little box. And what you're going to do is you're going to go place it on the check-in chart at what level you are.
Now, I do want, while you're doing that, just put your ears on and listen while you're doing that. There are different times and you're wondering, okay, I get this information, so what do I do with it? If you are at a 1 or 2, and I want to do this before you put yours on there so that you'll know what to expect, because we prepare our students for that as well. If you're at a 1, you're, like they said, everything is cool, this is my day, I am happy, nothing's going to bring me down. 2 is I'm still happy and everything, and I'm all right, I'm okay. 3 is, just like she said, feeling anxious. This is when you're going to, at some point in time, if they put their sticky note on there, you're going to want to talk to that child. See if you can intervene with whatever is happening in their life. If it's something that you have no control over, then just secure them in the thought that they have you to talk to throughout the day, or that they can touch base with you. A 4 is where I probably, that is where I'm feeling angry. We probably need to step outside. We don't need to go to the office. We probably need to step outside and let the class continue on. If you don't have support personnel in your room, that's okay. You can give them whatever they're doing at their desk, have them continue. You can leave the door open, just step outside. Give that child some privacy and to share. They may not be ready to share, but let them know that you're ready to listen whenever they are. And a 5, we are out of the room, or the room may have to be escorted out and you stay in the room with that child, depending on the physical aggression that might be happening or may happen. So with that in mind, I would like for this table to go ahead and place your sticky note wherever you are right now. And it's okay, and while you're doing that, I would not suggest you have the kids put their names on their sticky notes, because that's going to be the talk of the town. You can arrange that with initials, you can do it with a number, you can do it with a regular number, and they can make it small so the kids can't read it. Have them do whatever you think of. Now, Penny has a process that she uses here
But her environment is a very small group environment. So it's easy for them to do this. In a class of 22, it may not be so easy. And you may not remember when you did 22, 25 times 6. But whatever comes, whatever, idea you come up with to identify that child and not embarrass that child. And the last thing we want is somebody who's at a 4 or 5 because they don't want people to talk to them. They're going to come and put it here or here. They may not be ready to go outside. They don't want to have that attention drawn to them. And the thing is that are we going to stop and take them outside? No. You'll find a time and place. You'll know it. You'll feel it. You'll prepare for it. And so anyway, I would like the second table to come down and put your sticky notes where they are. I like how people have leveled within the level.
Okay, so while you do that, this is called our worry bucket. When we have our morning meeting in the morning, one of the very first things we do is, it's a social lesson every day, but I kind of need it. Our teachers do it. We all participate in this. Now, I've seen it done where you can write on a note card, a sticky note, and put your worry in that bucket. And we don't do that with our kiddos because a pencil in the hand is a trigger for most of our kiddos. And so that said, we symbolically pass the worry bucket and they put their worries in. And just by the way, this or
two different types of worries.
They get into it. And what we're talking about is, okay, we're going to put this away. We're going to put this away, and we're going to do our best to focus on the lessons at hand. Because bottom line is, you're coming in and you're trying to teach them. It took me a while to realize I didn't teach math. I taught kids. And so anyway, we love the worry bucket. I'm looking and I'm a little concerned. We've got a lot of 3s. I've not seen that all week long.
But that's okay. That is okay because this is why we have this. We are concerned.
Can I do this, Connie? Is this appropriate? If you were a 3 and you would like to explain why you're a 3, you don't have to go into detail, but like, I'm worried about something at home, I'm worried about a child.
Or is it something here that
or
we need
something
to revamp?
here? Is there somebody that's a 3 that's willing to share? Yes, ma'am, Sandra?
I told them I was kind of in between 2 and 3, but I'm like a rehire in Jasper, and this is my 5th year there. And I had health issues at the end of the year, so I wasn't there the last week. And I've been going up there, so I'm kind of anxious about getting everything ready and.
Okay.
Just like our kids.
Exactly.
We bring stuff with us. We can't always leave it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I like how she said I'm almost at a 3. I know people who don't do this, but I level within levels. If you came in and you're almost a 4, I like my kids to put it up here. If I'm a good solid 3, fine. But if I'm like at a 2 or a low 3, that tells me huge things. And I don't even have to talk to the kid right then. And you may not be ready to talk. The child may not be ready, but you know what? I'm not going to call on that child right now. I'm going to give that child some space, and I'm going to give them some time. If I see that, we will ask this. Usually I do it like every 15, it depends on if I'm doing periods or if I've got them for the whole day. I say, you know what, when I can see things are kind of getting, we might need to check our temperature, I will say, okay guys, I think it's time for us to check our temperature. I would like for this table to go, and if you're okay, if you have not changed, just stay seated. And if you need to change your temperature, please do. And I am mindful to watch who goes and who stays. Because if I have someone who goes and they're up here and they put it down here, I'm doing something right, or they or themselves are self-managing, and that's what we eventually want. But if I see someone go from a 2 to a 3, they're either pulling stuff in from home, they're thinking about that, or they're struggling in my class, either with me or the curriculum, or a student. Now, anything. There may be a smell. Somebody's got perfume on that they can't tolerate. I really am concerned if they move up.
We would have them, like say for instance, here we are, we're starting our day, we started our day, but it's bathroom break. I'm talking second grade. Go outside, go to the bathroom. We've trained them to automatically go and change. You know, they're already
Right.
up when they come in from the restroom. Somebody could have said something in the restroom line. Recess,
Lunch. That's
PE,
an automatic when you come
rotation.
in to the classroom.
And,
Check your
and-
temperature.
and so that way, you know, we got a good idea of what's going on. You have it on your tables as well. If you're just doing independent practice and you're worrying, you're seeing something, even a scowl on their face or something, and you just go up and say, tell me where you are. And then they'll tell me where they are. This is so cool because you can use it for other things.
You also can just point. If the child, and you don't even have to look at them, you can just go like this and touch it. The child, you teach them, just show me where you are.
You can use this scale as a tolerance scale,
Here.
a personal speed scale. I love the asking for help part. That would be one, mean you're doing your independent practice. One, I'm really good at this and I don't need any help. Two, I think I can do this. I've done it before. I've got a pretty good idea. Three, I'm not sure about this. I might be able to do it. Four, I will need a lot of help to do this. And five, I can't do this.
Oh, you already got one?
And all you have to do is walk around again and point, and they'll tell you where they are, okay? Okay, we have a routine. So it is come in, put up your cell phones, your lunches, all that other kind of stuff. Check in. Your morning work is sitting on your desk. They know to sit when they get all their little other things taken care of, logistics taken care of. They come in, they get started on their morning work until everybody's here, and it's time for the pledges, the moment of silence, and then all together, like again, a mantra, our school expectations. We're sitting down for a morning meeting every morning. We're going to have a discussion every morning before we get the day started. We'll start off with our worry bucket. Oh, you know, depending on what grade level, you got all kinds of stuff going on. Today is, you know, you get all kinds of math rolled into that. Ordinal numbers, counting by 2s, 5s, 10s. Yesterday, past, present, and future. Today is Monday, yesterday was Sunday, tomorrow, you know, all that kind of good stuff. We'll do some, on this day in history, play a little video off of the History Channel. But in doing all of that, we're going to remind the kids of our classroom expectations and procedures. We're going to tell them, hey guys, today in math, that's our time where because we're self-contained, we're going to tell them about our objectives for the day. Today in math, we're going to do this. Today in English, we're going to do this. Oh, today is library day. You know, anyway, we're going to go through all of this. Remember, when we went to the library last week, we had some issues. Sam won't be going to the library with us today. I want to remind the rest of you, this is how we behave at the
You may want to
library.
do a social story, which we'll talk about later.
And but you're just kind of laying out what the day is going to look like. They come from a very disorganized home life. A lot of them do, and they need that stability. They need to be able to count on something, and so it just helps all of us. My grandchildren, when it was just Aria, they just went and took her wherever they wanted to, however they wanted to do it. And then when she was fussy, get that baby on a schedule. And now that we got Sebastian, how mom can take care of 2 kids, she knows she needs to have a schedule. And she didn't really worry about naps. I said, naps are not for kids. Naps are for you, your sanity. And now, you know, they understand more about that.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay. I'm a para, so, I mean, all of this sounds great, but when you're trying to inclusion that child, and they're already supposed to be doing their morning work, and there's already logistics that the teacher expects of them. How are you incorporating all of this?
Okay.
That's where I get lost,
Okay,
personally.
so-
For young ones.
This,
Yes.
actually, everything we're doing today can either be, everything can be done as a whole class, or it can be done individually.
Or a whole school.
Or a whole school, and we would love for a whole school. But that is the reason why. Can I go ahead and jump
You
to this?
go, jump,
Because
girl.
since the question came up, we have our 5-point scale. That can be done with an inclusive child in an inclusive setting. It can be on their desk, and you're just working with that child. That child may be the only one. You maybe have 4 kids in there that you're working with, but you know what? I would give it to all 4 of those kids. And there may be one that you have to monitor a little bit closer. And how you would do that, and I would do this with them as well, is this one is a little different because I did this for a specific teacher with a specific child. But normally I have that be responsible, be respectful, be safe, be ready to learn. Because those are school rules. And we want to make sure that they do that. Well, I had to break it down for an individual for IEP purposes. This child needed hands to themselves, quiet mouth, bottom and seat. This is a child who's up and they didn't do the work. So these were specific for this child. You can make something similar to this. It was done in Boardmaker. If you do not have Boardmaker, you cannot do this. I could share it, but you couldn't print it because you have to have the CD to do that. But any of these things can be done in Google or in Word or any of those because the templates are there. You just have to organize it. This has multiple purposes because it is a great data collector. Everybody has one of these on their desk. Was it too distracting me going around for a whole class? It's difficult to do a class of 22 or more if everyone has this. It can be done if you have support personnel in the classroom. But it is great for inclusive classes because it is data collection. Not only is it self-reflection for that child so that they can self-monitor themselves or that they can see where they're having some struggling areas or that they're improving. But I usually have them put the date, or I do, the date and their name on the back, and I do this for every period, every day. Even if it's we don't change classes and you have that child all day, you still have periods. You still have different class, content classes. And so I do one because it breaks down my day. I can see if the child's struggling in the morning, more in the afternoon, or or with a teacher. It tells me a lot of things. But I just collect them. Look at yours right now. I've been going around and giving us all some stickers, and I'm overkilling it right now because I'm trying to get it to, so that you would see what it would look like by the end of the period or by the end of the day. I have two people that are helping me out. I'm gonna get this one first. Monica was helping me out here. Okay, Monica has a whole mess of stickers down and doing her work. She's a good student as far as academically. She likes to work. She's doing it good. Or she's doing work and getting it done, but it may not be right. But look at Monica. Monica can't keep her hands to herself. She's not respecting people's space, and she's not using nice words. But you know what? She's finishing those worksheets. She's finishing that stuff. That tells me many things. Now, if Monica's work is passing and she's doing well, we have kids that can actually academically do the work that will be distractors in our classroom. So I need to work on that. I know the areas I need to work on. But by letting her have a visual to see that, I can just quickly point, like if I need her to keep her hands to herself and respect over the space, I can just point to that. She's doing this. I'm praising her. Good job doing your work, but I need that. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to fuss at her. I need you to do this. Give her an opportunity to do what you're asking of her. And then I have another one over here. I'm going to make this quick because this is normally during our visuals, so I want to kind of move it along. Thank you, dear. All right. I have somebody who is quiet, keeping their hands to themselves. They're using nice words, but they're not doing any work. These are your little wallflowers. the ones that you ignore, because guess what? You're paying attention to those that are acting out. This right here is telling me either I am so distracted and I'm off in la la land. I get in the rose garden sometimes and I'm just like, I can't get focused to do my work, or the work is too hard. And I don't understand that work. So it tells me a whole lot. So talking about the kids in inclusive settings, this can be, now this is probably for elementary. I use this a lot in the high schools. I use this. Our kids, I tell you, any of our kids in high school, I don't even need this. I say, where are we? That's all I say, where are we? If there's a group of people, they have no idea what we're saying. And they'll say, I'm at a 3. I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's go have a walk.
Well, I found it's also important for me to check on the teachers.
Oh, where are they?
No, seriously.
Serious, no.
And I'm just gonna keep it real.
And that's usually the first person I ask.
Exactly.
Is a teacher.
I'm just gonna keep it real. I was in the classroom. I understand what it looks like from the classroom perspective. Like I told you, when I got to the to an administrative position, I saw the big picture, not just my 4 walls. And if you're on an elementary campus, which is predominantly women, you get all that hormone going. Oh God, get me away from that. Give me some testosterone. I got to have some men breaking it up. And but I can tell you that when women are more moody, I mean, I can admit that. I mean, even I am.
We can go from here
You
to
know,
here.
I can go from there to there in a New York
And
minute.
guys, we're being so mellow today.
Exactly, because we're tired. Yesterday was our best day, I'm thinking. So, sorry we didn't do it yesterday, but we didn't have water yesterday.
Actually, I'm holding back because that thing's so long.
And, but
okay, I'm
anyway.
stopping that. We're being real now.
Yeah, be
Let's
real.
Be real.
To
We can
be
go from
real,
here to here. Just like that.
Okay, but I want to know, okay, my teachers, they're going to look at my moods. Well, I've done something to upset her. But I do the same thing with them. No, it doesn't have anything to do with you. The air conditioner went out at the house. It's going to cost $1,300 to get me a new air conditioner.
No
And that-
water.
You know, that's why, like yesterday, we told the ladies, we had to laugh, got up yesterday morning, to get showered, there's no water. No worries, it's just the devil trying to get after me. I'm gonna go up to school, I got a shower up in here, ain't nobody in town had water. I couldn't even get my tea from Sonic. So what did I do? Just wash my face in some ice water, brush my teeth. Who cares, you know? But anyway,
Well, we actually almost had to cancel yesterday.
yes.
We were given the directive that if we did not have water at 8:30, that we were to cancel. So she was worried about how am I going to notify all these people that are coming so far. But at
8:28.
8:28, we had water.
But then we lost it. At you know,
And they just said, we want to keep going. We want to keep going. So we just got water to go flush down the toilet, and we went. They were very good. Very, very good.
So, anywho's okay. So now I'm going to kind of go to where I'm going to give you a break.
Can I answer some of your questions?
Some, but still,
You're
your
gonna have-
focus is trying to get them to accomplish what the classroom is doing.
They're
because
not-
that is
okay.
what you're
Teachers
working
expect
toward.
that.
Okay,
Exactly.
but okay, let's be real.
Yes.
Totally real. Teachers will expect all of their kids, they're going to do the same thing for all their kids. I'm not doing nothing different for you. Okay, you only got one leg. You don't got 2, but you're going to run this obstacle course like everybody else. Okay, that don't make sense. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why I'm saying
Collaboration.
when I was telling you about my story and that attitude, you got to stop. We have let's 5 5th graders, and I got a 5th grade reading on a 5th grader reading on a first grade level. Okay, he can't do what that's part of the reason why he's here. Okay, because he knows he's different. So it's better to be bad than be stupid. You know what I'm saying? So y'all, you're going to have a conversation with your teacher. Hey, look, I've got some ideas on how to have them call us. We got some ideas on how we can get little Johnny to do that, but Johnny may not be able to do what your top kids in the class can do. You're going to have to find a happy medium. Why do a page of 50 math problems if you know the same kind of problem if you know he can get 3 right? You know, that's an adult issue, not a teacher issue, I mean, a kid issue. And that's
not
not
child
forever.
focused. It's not child focused, and we've got to remember, every minute of our day should be student focused, child focused. And if you have a teacher that might need some help, and if they're willing, like Penny said, call us, or call me, because she can't leave.
I'll be able
as
to
much.
leave this year more.
Okay. I can come in. Yesterday, several of the teachers said, how soon can you come in? I can come in as of now. If you're getting your classroom ready, I can come in and help you get going with the check-in. And we have a whole another part of check-in, check-out that we'll talk about hopefully later if we have time.
Well, you need to talk to admin to make y'all a
We have-
class for staff
Your
development week.
administrators
Yes.
know that we're doing this.
Yes.
Okay, that's how, matter
You
of fact,
need to report back how you felt about
exactly.
our
And then
workshop.
I meet with them on, the Lumberton administrators, on the 31st, what's that, Monday with Sonia. And so, and I put another plug out there yesterday that, you know, y'all were coming and this is what we're doing. I'll be real, our administrators need this. I'm not talking to you about it, I'm talking about myself. I told you my story as an administrator. And I think that the reason why our kids are successful in this environment is because I got into that behavior piece. I never cared about that behavior. I'll whip your butt. And I did. When I first started off, I could take you out in the hall back in that day. I'm over at this school over here, take you out in the hall, whip your butt, and get back in. I could give you a tongue lashing that would melt you down to the floor. You sliding back in underneath the crack of the door going back in the classroom. I am so ashamed of what I did. But that's what my mentors did.
But I
That's
have
what
to
my-
tell you, part of getting a student to this behavior center is a process. And I went to a district and to a school, Penny and I both went. My job is to go over data. I'm data girl. I'm the data girl. And I'm very serious about it. And if it's not done correctly, then I'm not going to fuss at you. Because if it's not done correctly, I'm assuming you don't understand or you don't know. And so my job is to help you and to teach you. If that child needs to be here, I'm going to do everything I can to help you to show me in the data that they need to be here. But you're going to do all these interventions and more, because we just don't have time to give you all of them, before that child comes. We want him to be successful on your campus. So we want to give you the tools to do that there. We do it here. We do it here to the moon and back. But we need you to do it there. Well, I went to this one campus and it was a tough one. We had CPS was there, admin was there, counselors were there, you and I were there, everybody was there. And we had mounds of paperwork. And all of it was negative. He this, he that, he this, he that, he that. It was weighing on me because I never saw any positive. So I asked the assistant principal that was sitting across from me. I said, so what type of PBIS do y'all do on your campus? I didn't mean campus-wide. I'm like, has this child experienced any PBIS, even in the classroom? And she asked me, she looked at me, and she says, what is PBIS?
Yeah, what is it?
So that's coming from an administrator. And so
And if the
anyway,
administrators don't know it, then you as teachers don't know it.
you do not have to have what we're teaching you in the school, but you can have it in your classroom. I don't care if you're a para or if you're a teacher, whichever, you can do this. It just means we're going to modify it a little bit. But we encourage the collaboration with your teacher. I was an inclusive teacher, and I was put literally, Gerald Chandler, I love him, he was our principal at the time, and I had two teachers that were bucking us like crazy of going inclusion. Did not want their kids in there. Did not want their kids in there. So this is how it went down. It was a directive, and we didn't have a choice. And so we're going, okay, Miss Milliken can go here. She was one of my paras at the time. She's now a teacher, wonderful teacher. I had Miss Swartz going here. I had Christy Cleveland going there. I had everybody going, me, because I was saving. Gerald says, I want you to have those two. I'm like, oh, thank you. And I'm like, okay. So I went in there. I made friends with them first. and I let them understand that I understood their concerns. And I'm here to help you. And the very first thing I did is, let's pull out your curriculum. And I'm gonna pull out those IEPs. And we sat together. Miss Bohr was one of them, and I love her to death, and she became our biggest advocate. Both of them did. And she went around teaching other teachers what I taught her. But she was not on board at all. But we sat down, and this is the best way, and I tell this day, if I can find another way to do it, and it's better than this, I will let y'all know. We took her year curriculum. How many times is that going to change? Really? Really? So we took all the kids with IEPs, we cut up that IEP thing, and wherever, like we went through her curriculum. Do we have any kid that needs this? Oh, we do. That little, with that kid's name on it, went there. When she opened her curriculum, oh, this week I need to hit this, this, and this with that child. 9 times out of 10, what was already in her curriculum book just needed to be modified. Or with accommodations. And we did that throughout her year curriculum. We had time to do that. You may do it one semester at a time. You may do it a month at a time. But if you tell that gen ed teacher, let me help you, and I know a way we can do this, that's going to be so easy. Now, there were a few stragglies that she didn't hit.
That's part of why teachers
Yes.
get like that and dig their heels in, because
Right.
they don't know. Why administrators dig their, because I can't picture it. What does it look like?
Right.
That's why we wanted you to come here to kind of see what it looked like. If you've got a kid you're working one-on-one, I know you're doing inclusion, so you got to work with all the kids, but you can target this specific kid. It could be a conversation just between you and he as to that little, those little cards there. Or if you're working on an assignment with him, doesn't want to do it, pick out any 2 questions. You know, there's always, it's all in presentation.
For their thing though, it really, for the curriculum, shouldn't it be the special ed teacher, not the aide, that needs to present this to the teacher?
It can be. It doesn't have to be. It depends on how experienced the parent is.
Or
It is what it is.
how the whole school is set
Yeah.
up. I don't know how the school, how it's
The
set up.
administrator might, but that's going to be a big burden on our teachers, and we trust our parents.
Right.
It's a lot of work for a person to do, and especially when our caseloads are so big. But I would suggest that your lead teacher on your campus or in your district would probably get together with the teachers and the parents
Who's
and explain
Silsby?
this.
You mean Silsby here? Okay, because Silsby doesn't necessarily have lead teachers yet.
And
We're
you would
working
call
on it.
me. Let me explain Silsby. What we've done is the co-op has included Silsby into the cooperative on behavior only, not curriculum. So Silsby gets a hands-on just because they're not a part of the academics. They are behavior, but not. So and guys, I will come if I'm telling you, if you're a lead teacher, if you go back to your lead teachers, we don't have any lead teachers here. We do have some changes in lead teachers. Can I do a little plug, and I'll make it fast? And I know we do this every morning, and I end up rushed in the afternoon. We have 7 lead teachers in our district, and 4 of them this year are new. So I'm going to be in the schools doing training, a lot of hands-on training all throughout the school year. Lumberton, primary has a new lead teacher. I'm trying to think who it is.
Evans.
Angela Evans. I didn't know that. Why didn't I know that? Okay. I just knew it was new.
Yes.
All right. Coons is going to have Mandy Stevenson, who was one of our diagnosticians. She's going to Coons
High school.
West Hardin has a new lead teacher, and I'll have to find out who that is. I wrote the name down, but I can't read. Do we have West Hardin people here? We had them earlier
No.
the other days. And somebody else.
Rachel Flowers.
Rachel, my precious Rachel. She was here the other day. So this is the thing, is you have any questions? Do we have gen ed teachers here? Okay. You have any questions at all about how this is to go, you go to that lead teacher, or you yourself. My phone number was up there. I take phone calls from everybody, but out of respect, I would let your lead teacher know. Just out of respect. And I will be happy to come and share and show how we do that curriculum, taking the IEPs and going. That right there, when the teachers hear that, with Miss Upshaw and Miss Moore were my two. And I love those teachers because they taught me so much. As much as I taught them, they taught me. And they gave me an opportunity to grow with kids I would have never known. I get the ED kids, but I got to learn, and I have a love for those teachers that do that share. But having that curriculum and being able to just turn that page and say, okay, I need to hit this and this and this with these kids. It makes that whole year just, whew.
And I provide, well, of course, we're working all off of IEPs, but one
Right.
full day, each of my teachers have one full day just to go over the IEPs for their kiddos.
But, and I'm kind of glad we're talking about this, guys, because this is happening. It's fixing to happen. When school's going to start, bam, they're there. But the thing is that so many times we say, oh, I got to take this kid out, content master out of the room to work on IEPs. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you go through that curriculum, you know what? You're probably going to cover it. It's just going to be a different level than what the rest of the class is doing. It may have a little tweak in it than what the rest of the class is doing. But you know what? That way those kids stay in that classroom.
And just a
they're
little
not pulled
bit,
out.
you'll get to go see some of our classrooms. Of course, they're not in perfect condition. I mean, getting ready for school to start. But what we do is this, and you can do it in your classroom as well. Matter of fact, I learned it in a first grade classroom, and then we've expanded on it. But let's say, I told you about my fifth graders. Well, we've got, with this year, we'll have 6th, 7th, and 8th in one classroom. Which one teacher and one parent. It's not a big deal anymore. You just have to wrap your mind around it and get into it.
Think out of that box.
Exactly. We've got we've got 3 different stations, and we rotate our kids, and we teach every subject, not just one subject. Okay, so the teacher is working with doing the direct teach on math, and then they rotate to another teacher to do the guided practice. Then they're at their seats to do independent work. They're on a computer, when we're doing iStation or Think Through Math, stuff like that. But we've got all kinds of rotations going on so we can meet those different levels. And we've even been able to, we took all of our kids, we're talking high school and 6, 7, and 8. We did a unit, the Diary of Anne Frank. I think it's really like a 6th, 7th grade book. 5th, 6th, 7th, something like that.
Does in 8th grade.
Okay,
8th grade.
and but we did it with all of them. We read the play is what we did. And by the way, one of our little girl has written a play this summer.
Are we going to get to do it?
I don't know. We're going to see.
Also.
But number one, the historical aspect of it really got the boys. They all so got into it. But we knew that not all of them read on the same level. But we were able to, but we all knew that none of the kids could write a paragraph.
They're not going to write.
So I mean, that was something that all of our kids had in common. All of our kids had on an IEP. So we could do all of that in one class together. And so you just have to get creative. You have to get out of your box, and a textbook.
Well,
a
and the
textbook
thing
is just a resource.
That is going to trigger behaviors. That right there, that's the reason why this has not come up in the other 2 classes. But that will trigger behaviors when you're pulling kids out, when you're not meeting their needs. I come into a classroom, I'm called all the time, and I see a paraprofessional sitting with a group of kids. No. You know how I was walking around like that? That's how a para needs to be doing in every class. I don't care how bad, you may have the worst kid in the entire school. You're going to teach them that I'm not going to sit right next to you and guide you all year long. Everyone else needs your attention as well. And we're going to teach that. And if you have trouble with that, I will come in and help you.
You need to
with
come
that.
help me.
Well, it's easy when you have 2 of them.
It is.
Right. And
Yes.
our kids don't know the difference between the teacher and the parent.
I don't think they do.
And so we got
The respect level is the same.
Exactly.
Is the same.
Okay,
Yes,
Let's go,
I know,
let's go,
I know.
let's go, let's go.
I know.
Okay, then we're gonna give, we're gonna give y'all
We
break.
do not want to hesitate asking questions.
No, we
No.
don't. We just have so
I
much
wish
stuff to
this
give
had
you.
come up in the
Well,
other
let's talk
two
about
sessions.
let's talk about the parking lot too.
Okay,
If you've got a question, if you'll put it on a sticky note, this is our parking
we
lot.
check it
Put
constantly.
it right here, and you just get up, and y'all can get up while we're talking to go to the bathroom, get your snack, whatever, you can still
Go through the
hear,
refrigerator,
you know.
anything.
And so, and put your question there and we'll refer to it. Okay, so I gotta go to the first day of school. First day of school. And, we have to teach them every little thing. Every little thing. If we teach them how to read, write, do arithmetic, Lord, if we're in art class, we're teaching them about all kinds of different aspects of art, music, we're teaching them how to play it. We need to teach them how to behave. We need to teach them how to behave. You don't just come out and they do something and you jump. They don't know how to behave. So when I say behave, you're teaching them what's expected with their cell phones. You're teaching them about the check-in, check-out. All of your little pursuit. We teach the elementary kids, even the high school kids. We'll show you in just a little bit. You teach them how to go to the bathroom, how to wash their hands, 2 pumps of soap, 2 pulls on the seriously.
Well, and
We teach them how to walk down the halls.
little girls have special needs when they get to a certain age. And we've got a visual. If you've been to the restroom, we got a visual in case you forgot how to
And
take
we
care
got
of
a visual
yourself.
for those men as
Yes.
well. If you sprinkle when you tinkle, be a sweetie and wipe the seat.
Right.
We're just, we're just keeping
Don't
it real.
assume that they have learned behaviors that are appropriate for your setting.
So we had some
Don't assume.
major discussions the first, yes ma'am.
Yeah, I went to camp this summer, for math teachers, and they were talking about that, teaching every procedure. It said, you don't just tell them you need to raise your hand if you want to ask a question. You tell them how they raise their hand, because there's all kind of ways. They can
And so, but you don't necessarily have to, you can have another symbol. In a computer classroom, I've got solo cups, but I could also use it in a classroom setting as well. I've got a green, a yellow, and a red. And of course, those yellows are not always easy to find, or greens. But anyway, they're all stacked on one another. Greens on top, they're good to go. Reds on top, they're not. They need some help. And if it was just one of me in that classroom, that's how I got around to each of those kiddos. And they knew they could work on something else, move on to something else, and then I'll come back, but I'm going to go around and give everybody else the same attention that I'm going to give you, and I expect you to be, we had to teach them all of that stuff.
Well, and if you are support personnel in the classroom, that's your job, is to meander around that room, see who needs help, catch it before
Whether
it
the
gets
teacher
bad.
asks you to
Yes.
do that or not.
That is your job.
You got to know, and might as well go
Right.
this way too. Okay, teachers have a para. Teachers are going to have a hard time telling that para what to do.
Right.
They don't want to infringe. That's just they're
Well, then
unsure.
they say this is all mine. I'm not gonna
now
share.
I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't want no para in
Yeah.
my room. No, nothing about paras. I was a queen of my classroom. I was a
queen.
one-woman show, and I did things a certain way, and I couldn't get out of my box. And so it was when I could, but I learned. But in the beginning, no, I could not. And so, but we had to have some discussions, even just between ourselves about, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. We're gonna do. My girls have got it going on.
I did curriculum, I did spelling for Miss Bohr because she knew I couldn't do the dissecting of the sentences because I just couldn't do that. And the kids taught me a lot, but she loved it because when do our teachers have time to work with our special needs kids? So what she did is we decided that, okay, I'll do the spelling and not the DOL, she did the DOL. Because I kept messing that up. But anyway, I would do the spelling, and they had spelling worksheets, so it wasn't just going over words. They had a lot of things going on. But during that time is when she went and she went to her desk, and she didn't call just special ed students. She called gen ed, special ed, anybody that was struggling, she would call to her class. So during that 20 minutes, guess what? She got one-on-one time with a student. and she did a different child every day. So you never knew who was going to be called. But during that spelling time was when she did that. Now what happens with that spelling when that child's over? Well, we had other times during the day. I wasn't in the classroom, but she had other times that she was pulling other kids and the kids could work on work they hadn't finished. So that is another strategy that you can work with your collaborative teacher or your inclusive teacher.
My son had her when he was there, and
When did he have her?
he's a sophomore now, so it was 5 years.
Probably there.
And she had implemented peer tutoring at that point too. And I know that he was in one of her classes and he would peer tutor.
Okay, so
Like,
that was
the
during the
kids
time
that
we
would
were
miss-
there.
Yeah, that would miss, they would go
Yes.
work with another student at different times and stuff.
And well, that was one of the strategies she put in place because we could not afford for that child to miss that certain thing. So I'm glad so that's
It was
fruition.
great.
That gives
She
me
implemented
goosebumps.
it, and Connie Glaze also did too.
Connie,
'cause I know
yes,
you did it in
Connie
both
Glaze,
classes.
yes,
Yes,
and
it was really
Those
neat.
were the three that really jumped on board, and I love those teachers, and you see the results. You see the results.
Okay, so
We're rushing.
first day of school. Well, we actually didn't get this the first day, but we got it in the first week. Because you have so many things to teach. We put a constitution together. You know, about that time it's Celebrate Freedom Week, Constitution Day. I don't think we made it to Constitution Day. I think that's in October if I'm not mistaken. But Celebrate Freedom Week, it's right there at the beginning of school. And what we did was we reenacted you know, the development, the Continental Congress that met to write a constitution. We talked about a constitution, what a constitution was, and they came up with a constitution. Now I rewrote it because their handwriting was not what it was supposed to be, but and they all signed it, and all the teachers signed it. We did not have subs. We didn't want subs until the very end of the school year. We did train 2, and we had them sign as well. We also went through discussing bullying, and we had them write their own contract, and then we had them sign that they were going to take a stand against bullying. We never had any problems with this. Anytime there was a problem, we refer it back to the Constitution. We refer it back to our rules that are posted everywhere. Be respectful, be responsible, be ready to learn, be really safe. Let's see, we also did a big chart on words that were not allowed. No, we didn't write it out every 4-letter word, but we wrote profanity.
They knew what it meant. They knew what it meant.
It was very, when you apply for a job here, you're going to have some thick skin, like Teflon. And Mr. Goodman, wonderful man, a man of color, in our high school classroom, one of our kiddos, I mean, he's calling him the N-word, I don't know, 1,000,000 times a day. It mortified me. And I know it got on his nerves. He did better with it than we did. But that kid wants a rise out of you. And so Ben had to just roll off of him. I always felt like he felt I wasn't supporting him. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, when you sign up, that's what happens. When you sign up here, you're going to get hit, you're going to get spit on, you're going to get kicked, scratched, whatever, called every name in the book. But hey, we love it anyway. We love it anyway. We're going to win.
Well,
we're going to come out on top.
Transformation, and
Yes.
you will see the transformation when you implement this. The key thing is consistency. Whatever you start, you better finish.
Well,
Plan to finish it.
And it's an example of planned ignore that Connie's going to tell you about later on this afternoon. When they call you that stuff, they try to get a rise out of you. They want to make you mad. They're mad, they're trying to make you mad. And so we had to plan to ignore them. And so, but we'll talk to you more about that. Again, practice the expectations, model it. Okay, how you're going to move down the hall. How you're going to act in the restroom, cafeteria, gym, playground, bus, etc. I teach high school. I'm fixing to show you one of the ways the high school teaches all of these things the beginning of the year. Okay, we also have daily behavior supports. And let's see. Okay, visuals. Okay, we've told you about check-in. You're gonna wanna display their work. Chart, schedule. Now, when you go into some of our other rooms, you're gonna see a big schedule, and even little pointers that they move, to tell where they are during the day. Now, I just made, this as an example. It is simply, you can put the times on this, first period, second period, whatever. This is supposed to be our schedule for today. 9 a.m. we started our morning work. 9:10 we started our morning meeting. Your lunch will be at 12. We'll get started again at 1:15. And our dismissal, we're trying for 3:30. And we've gone over it a little bit just about 5 or 10 minutes the last couple of days, just because we just wanted to send you home with all of this info. Okay, you all have a number on your name tag. We got door prizes. We're gonna give away some of these today.
Oh. I was ready to give it away.
I am too. What number
Are you
got?
ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all are the last ones, and we're giving you our own stuff. Number 16. 16.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Who's 16? All right, we got 2 more to get.
Okay.
You can do all kinds of things with that. It does not have to be a schedule. We have, the kids are on different levels here. Level 1, they cannot get up out of their seat to get a pencil. For nothing. They don't get up out of their seat. They don't get to talk to another student until they're on level 2. They don't get to go to a recess until they're on a level 2. So, we write all the things that they're allowed to do at each level,
And they can be done
in there.
individually. Those levels can be done individually. Does not have to be on the classroom.
And
Whole
so,
class.
okay, we got 2 more of those.
While she's talking about schedule and she's got that going, I have for the older kids, middle school, high school, because I work a whole lot with those kids. They don't want to be recognized that I need a schedule. They don't want to be recognized. They just have a schedule like everybody else that's printed out, and we go class to class to class. But you know what? I may have them a schedule in my classroom as a reminder so that they're staying ahead of it and they're checking it off. So what I do is I have the teachers put their schedule in here. It is a bookmark, so that way it easily gets put, okay, this is my class, I can put it in there and nobody knows. It can also be a reminder of, I have some of these, I'll be giving them away.
That is really a good idea.
I also have reminders for, especially our behavior kids, our big kids, of their expected behaviors for their data collection sheets and for their teachers. I put that in here. They carry it around with them. It's a bookmark. They say, well, I forgot. No, you didn't, because you got a schedule. You got it right there with you.
Where did you get that
They're new, and it's going to be your best friend. I'll talk about it later. I have some other type things that y'all are going to love me. I just can't wait. Anyway, that is another way that you can present a schedule. We have a number, and that is number, oh, man, and 10 almost didn't exist. Number 10. I'm number 10. Oh, there you go. Good. Do another one. Okay. The reason why I said number 10 almost didn't exist is because I left it off of that, and I couldn't understand why I had an odd number on the bottom. And so we went 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13. I'm a math teacher. All right, number 18. 18.
All right. Okay, so you got to set up every little thing in your classroom. Okay, example, we used these are camping cups. You can take them camping if you want to, or you just use this idea. You put a label, sharpened, unsharpened. Okay, so if they need to sharpen it, I got all that sharpening, all the time. No, you trade in your unsharpened pencil for a sharpened pencil. And then at the end of the day, you have somebody, it could be even yourself, at the end of the day, sharpens all the pencils to get ready for the next day. I mean,
I already had them rolled.
every little thing is so uber organized. You're gonna have to, I dropped that one. You're gonna have to control who gets up out of their seat and who doesn't.
Lucky 13.
13? Okay. All right, I told you about the sparkles earlier. Okay, you start off with 2 jars. The group as a whole, the class as a whole, while y'all were working so good together, I mean, not together, but y'all, everybody individually as a whole group, y'all were
So
doing
quiet.
exactly what we asked you to do. It could be Mrs. Bork's class. Oh, wait. You know, they're walking down the hall, they got their bubble in their mouth, they got their stingers back here. You know, middle school kids, if, you know, you take your kids to the library, everybody had their library, it can be anything. But what you do is, when they earn a sparkle, you move it from this jar,
It may be one or it may be a handful.
well, however proud you
However.
are of them, there's no rules, but except, you don't take from the earned and put back
Right.
over here. They earned them, now we'll take them away. So when they get everything from this jar to this jar, then they get some kind of prize. It could be 10 minutes on their device. It could be popsicles, popcorn, a homework pad, whatever you want to give.
Again, it can be individualized in small little jars, or it could be for a whole class.
I've used this at all levels. I've taught this at, I've used this in elementary, middle school, and high school. In middle school and high school, when I had multiple classes, even in elementary, I had multiple classes at one time because I was the only math teacher. I had 2, they were more like the size of a jelly jar, a mason jar. And not the really tiny ones, but you know. Okay, so I had 2 jars for all, I think we had 6 sections or 8 sections, I can't remember. Well, we were A day, B day, so maybe it was 8 sections. I had everything labeled, they had competitions against one another. And so, anyway, so you got a
All right,
number?
do 15.
15?
Sparkle 15.
Oh, you get the sparkles.
Okay. All right,
Jimmy, can
so,
you sit all day?
Do you
okay,
want me to set them up here?
I'll put 'em down.
She enjoys the
I meant-
sparkle. Enjoy.
I meant throughout the day at school all day.
okay, sticker chart. You could put it on a business card, make something on a business card, for high school kids. I love my punch card, I call these punch cards. I love mine. When I go to the car wash, they give me a punch. If I go to Lifeway, they give me a punch. And when I get everything
Chicken
filled,
Express has a punch card.
you know, so, hey.
Yes, and they get
We
a
love-
10% discount for teachers.
Exactly. I did school-wide PBS at 2 of the elementary schools where I was principal. And it just changed the whole culture. At the second school that I did this with, I loved it. Every kid in the school had one of these. It didn't have to look just like this. The teacher picked, or I made some up that they could run off. We didn't use stickers. We changed to punches because kids love this so much they steal their neighbor's stickers. And so,
Initials they can afford, they've learned to
Right.
afford.
and so the teacher puts their name and their name on the chart anytime they catch them being good, okay? This is not a whole class thing. You could do it individually, like, say for instance, if you got little Johnny, you don't have to do it with your whole class, but just little Johnny. Or you can do it with your whole class. For me, everybody had one. When they were caught being good, their teacher caught them being good, she punched away. When they got 25 punches, she sent them to the office. I had a great big treasure chest in my office, a big old trunk full of stuff. They got to pick what they wanted. They left this there for me, and I gave them a shout out the next day, okay?
During the announcement.
During the announcements. And they loved it. Shout outs, you can have shout outs in your classroom. We teach our kids to give each other, to encourage each other and give them shout outs. So they were giving shout outs to their, it could be their teachers, their classmates, whomever, every day. I did notice I didn't get too many shout outs. I got my feelings. I was kind of like left out. Okay, let's see. The other sticker chart system would be this thing right there that she told you about earlier. Okay,
But even the punch is good data.
Exactly.
Data. Keep it, don't toss it out, because you're gonna date from when it started and when it ended. How long did it take that child to get there? The next time you do punch cards, did it take him longer or did he get through it quicker? That's I'm a data girl. So data. Those are the things we look for when we go into a school.
And then you start your file on every kid. Might want to have a pocket folder even, or a regular folder that you staple up the sides. And you just dropping all this stuff in there on that one kid, yes.
I have like a logistics question. So when I've done sticker charts before, like those or whatever, I've taped it to the desk, but if they're punching it, how are you having them, they just keep it in their desk and pull it out and punch it?
Or you can put it up, you can put it in little pouches like that.
Or you can, I make sure all mine have these in there, they keep it up in there, and after I punch it, I usually tell them, okay, where is it going? In my zipper, my zipper pouch.
That's how we did it, and if you lost it, too bad, so sad.
You have to start over.
Well, you had to start, we gave them another chart, but you lost everything that you had earned. And so also teachers' responsibility, you know. So, okay, the bingo system that we're using. Okay, got that at Walmart, I think it was $10. Of course, it had, I don't know, 100 little balls in there, but I took out all the balls except one for 1 to 22, I think. And so, when you want to call on kids, you don't want to call on the same kids all the time. I see that. That's the number one thing I see when I go through classes and I'm going to say, And so what you do is, you call on the child first. You call on the child first. And you pull.
No, you call
You call the number first.
number first.
Okay, you call the number. It won't be long before you'll know who that person is just by the number. But that student, like if we wanted number one came out. Okay,
So number one.
I know Becky, okay? Becky is on a lower learning level.
That's true.
So I don't mean that really, but you know, we're gonna adjust our question on the Bloom's taxonomy scale to that student. And so you want to get in the habit of drawing the kid, then asking a question that's not a yes/no question, okay, for them. Okay, there's also other ways to not call on the same person. Of course, if you're elementary, you know about pulling sticks. I always had their names, you know, I had jars everywhere, okay? Here, and we had to start doing this when I was in Newton because of the different laws, the HEPA laws that were starting to come in at school. Like you couldn't put any type of, even their multiplication tests up. And so no grades could be out for anybody that could see. Here, the kids pick an avatar. We know who this is by looking at it. It'll be much easier to do if you're self-contained. Not so much, you know, if you have multiple classes. But we know exactly, you know, who that is. So it's a great way to, you know, pull sticks, pull sticks, yeah. Bingo, I love the bingo. The bingo is just fun.
For high school, the big tongue depressors, the example I've given is what I've used myself, the big ones. For middle school and high school is I would tell them I want their whole, just their first name, but I want it to cover the whole stick. I don't want a little bitty name, I want a big old name. And then, now we're doing this the first week of school. I want them to flip it over, and I had the nice Sharpie markers, fine tip, and had those on the table, and they were to design whatever they wanted to on the back, as long as it was appropriate. And I had this one guy share the other day, it's dragon, oh my goodness, that dragon just went up like this, it was just amazing. You also get to see if they're just like stripe, you know, it's.
Well, that dragon student right there could have been a student that was horrible, most likely.
Right.
Horrible in academics, but oh my gosh, he needed to find his niche in the school community, and
Right.
what a way, our classroom community, what a
Some of
way
them
to pull
did
those
little-
talents.
Swirly, that's a doodler. Swirlies, little flowers, little this. I know that if I saw doodling on her paper, okay, that's all right. We're good. She likes to doodle. But I put them in the jar, and I mean, high school loved it, loved it. You know, they didn't fear their name being called because we did follow the Bloom's taxonomy when we called them that child. Make sure that you draw the name first, I think is the message we want.
And you
to-
may even want to put a Bloom's chart up with Bloom's verbs to remind you.
Right.
You're a visual for you. And, okay, so, cool down coupons, I'm skipping stress balls and fidgets for right now. Because we're gonna come back to that in just a second. We usually talk more about that one. Cool down coupons. I know that my youngest son, has Asperger's. And so, of course, we never told him he had Asperger's. And we took him out of special education because we didn't, once we figured out that's what it was, we didn't want anybody else to know that he was on the autism spectrum because he came from Mars, came to live on Earth. There was no rocket ship back to Mars, so he better suck it up, buttercup, like my mama did me. You know, he figured out he was Asperger's in college, in high school after they showed some kind of a film, and he came on and said, Mom, I gotta talk to you. And he wanted to know if, do I have Asperger's? And I hit the roof. Who told you that? You know, and I'm thinking, you know. So, but anyway, and so yes, that's when we told him. And he was already 504, and one of the things that he does is get very anxious. And so he had, he was able to just verbally say, because, we had the 504 meetings and everything, but you don't have to be on 504 special ed to do any of the things we're doing.
Right.
It's just good teaching. He had a safe place to go. He could tell his teacher at a certain place, he and the nurse and he and the counselor were really close. And so he had a place to go. They let him call me. I was usually the only one that could talk him down. And so, anyway, cool down coupons are fabulous. We have self-contained kids all day, every day. They only get 2 a week. This means they're getting up to a 4. They're feeling themselves leaving a 3. They're at a 3, but yeah, they're moving to a 4. Okay, and so we don't want them to have to go to what we call the think tank. We want them to say, self-regulate, and say, hey, I feel myself getting out of control, I need a minute. And so we give them a cool down coupon for 5 or 10 minutes, they get it twice a week, no penalty. Okay.
Well, they can be used individually too, at your desk.
Right.
They get 2 a day, and I think I have an idea of some of the ones that you're talking about, and I would do it daily for you, because they need breaks often. And, but they, let them have a choice. The thing is, they're gonna take control. They're there to be in,
all day.
they're gonna be in control. Give them something to be in control of. They choose when they need a break, not you.
And they go with a timer.
They choose. And they do go with a timer, but I have a good idea who you're talking about, or some of the ones that you're talking about. And so, like we said, everything we're doing here can be done on a small scale for individual as well.
You can do it class-wide, school-wide, individual.
Right.
And, okay, Ticket to Ride. For us, all of our kids start off with a ticket on Monday. And because this is one that teaches long-term consequence.
Normally we want to fade. This is one you want to increase, okay?
Okay, so let's say everybody starts out Monday, good to go.
1, 2, 3.
They have daily expectations to meet. If they can meet all 5 days of their expectations without going to mission control, total meltdown, whatever, or going to the think tank, or going to take whichever it is, they can meet their expectations. We're going to let them at 2 o'clock on a Friday afternoon have time from 2 to the time they get out, about 3:15. They love their devices. That's what they want, free time on their devices. But if they wanted to, we'd take them down to Dairy Queen, or, take them on a little trip or whatever. We can do
We're
that
gonna
here.
talk
Y'all
about
can't do that there.
reinforcers later.
But their devices, a recess, popsicles, something like that.
Dance party.
That, exactly. But what the object of this is, okay, they lost their party on Monday.
This person
Because
does.
they didn't meet that goal on that daily goal on Monday. Whatever, I don't care, whatever. Well, come Friday, they not going to they not getting that time off.
But your social story, your verbally social story, some of yours may need a visual social story, talking about what happens when we lose these.
Exactly.
So that they're not totally distraught and they'll get used to it and they'll realize, okay, no matter what, I don't care how sorry I feel and my heart goes out that you've lost it, but it's just for this week or it's just for this day, however it is.
Ours goes distraught.
Right.
Or in the beginning. But then they begin to understand. We let them decide what their parties are gonna be.
Right.
And we put them in a big bucket and draw at the beginning of the week what it's gonna be for. We'll cook for them, we'll do whatever, we can do that. Yeah, I know you don't get to do that there.
But
You
we
do a
can
version
brainstorm
of
and
it.
come up with some
Right.
things that can be really cool.
Right, and then, that was their very first one of the year to make the cookies. They got to make the cookies, and they loved it.
And
They
every
loved
time
the
I
cookies, they
come
loved the
in here,
cooking.
I'm like, are we getting cookies today? No, that was from the beginning of the year. I do it one day I'm gonna have those cookies.
But
in
then the devices took over,
Yeah.
And, but anyway, so what it did, come Friday, they had a meltdown. And we got to have those conversations just because hey, we get the toothpaste or the shaving cream and squirt it out.
I'll tell you what.
Can I put that toothpaste or that shaving cream back in that tube or that can? No. We had that those words that you just spoke, those ugly words that you just spoke to Mr. Ben, there's no taking them, they're out there. You've insulted him, you've disrespected him, time and time again. You're not getting it back in there. That's how, you're gonna have to be careful of what you say. You're gonna have to be careful. What you did on Monday, it has a long-term effect. It's gonna affect what happens on Friday.
You may start this on a day,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
and then it may be 2 days, then 3 days. You want to get it increased. I would not stay on a day or a 2-day for very long. You want to get compliance, and they're gonna throw that fit. We know they are. We're triggering that fit.
We do all of this intentionally to make them mad, to make them go into a fit, so that we can coach them.
We don't want you walking on eggshells waiting for that fit to happen. Sometimes, in a constructive way, you may trigger so that you can help teach. Start that reteaching of that behavior. You don't want a full-blown meltdown and you didn't prepare that child and you didn't prepare yourself. You want to be able to handle it and have them prepared to know that every time I do this, this is what's going to happen and I'm not going to change. You've got to be consistent and stick with it. That is the key.
But that's something also that the lead teacher and the people in authority above have to be in agreement with, so that somebody else doesn't step in and say, oh, just today. And get
Exactly.
That happens.
Let me tell you, I was
I'm
thinking.
glad you said that.
I was
yes.
thinking about calling Sonia and say, Sonia, I really don't want to go to that meeting on Monday because my school year doesn't technically start until August 7th. And I have not had a summer. But I'm telling you, because I will be there and I will say these. You're in Lumberton, right? I will say these. And we all besties here in Coombs. So I don't have a problem.
Well, and it's also with the parents because, the color chart, we would get up to a red and they weren't supposed to get their device at home. But yet, okay, mom can't deal with it, so mom gives them the device no matter what.
And I will tell you,
That's a whole nother thing.
That is, I'm gonna get right to you, sweetheart. Hang on one second.
And it was,
Okay,
it
what
doesn't
we
matter,
mentioned on
mom's gonna give
yesterday,
me my
and
game anyway.
you as a teacher need to understand this. Do not say something you are not gonna deliver. Never promise a class unless you know 100% you can deliver, either positive or negative.
Right.
Example, you got a kid at the Walmart screaming, okay, and throwing a fit. And it's okay for a mama to take care of that fit. But if she gives in to that child after a fit, she's just reinforced that fit. So it's gonna get to a
Grandma
point.
can't go behind her back
Exactly.
and say, that's okay, I'll give it to you. No, everybody has to be on board, and we will be talking with administrators.
And see, we train, she does in-home training with parents. We offer training for our parents in conversations with our parents. And a lot of our parents, and I'll just be real with you,
They
they're
got it
poster children of
24/7.
why people shouldn't be able to procreate. Certain people shouldn't. God bless them. I mean, seriously, they can't raise themselves, much less a child. Okay, stress balls, to fidget or not to fidget? That's the question. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out there right now. Them spinners, not a fidget.
It's not a
There
fidget.
is research that shows that of some sort of a fidget is that truly helps people. Fidgets come in all shapes and sizes. I have here, we're gonna give one away today. This is get in your seat, Shorty.
Oh, that would work.
This is a bounce band. Now, my first partner, Ginger Parker, we opened up the Behavior Center in Liberty County. We didn't have these the first year. I left to come here the second year, and she had it the second year. She ordered these bounce bands. Oh my gosh.
Some of you may
What
have
a
seen
difference.
Yes.
You have them? Did you notice a big difference?
We bought them out of our own budget, but yes.
Yes.
I saw them in
You
Mrs.
can-
Walton. You know Mrs. Walton? No, you're not at the.
You come over and look. Okay.
Mrs. Walton, I put some in her classroom for an experiment. And I also put some in Kootz's classrooms for that same experiment. And this is what we found, is that the children who don't need it, they give them an opportunity to use it. If they don't need it, they will eventually not use it.
Okay,
So-
show them a kid that doesn't need it,
Okay.
what they're gonna do. Okay, show them what a kid that really needs it is gonna do.
You're either gonna have the runner, the fidgeter, that the leg has always gotta move, the leg's always gotta move, or you're gonna have the swinger. The swinger.
Or,
Okay, excuse me. Okay, in my experiment, I found out that it was 100% male. Pressure, and they were just taking it and just going like that. It was that pressure on the legs, and at first I really thought that they were just misusing it. I'm like that they were trying to break it, and it was not that. It was strictly pressure, because I saw it not just in one class, but different classes in different schools. And the guy, they would just eventually do this. It was majority guys, and I say the girl won't. But let me tell you what worked better than the bouncy bands for pressure was those exercise bands that you can get. They're fabric, they're plastic, they're like a rubber thing. They come in different tensions. Those, because you can adjust that on there. And Jennifer Withers, I'm going to give her a whoop whoop for that. She did all her chairs in her classroom, self-contained classroom with different strengths. And she had them not on the front, but she also had them going to the back for those that would sit like this on the side, and they would bounce, but there were different tensions. And the kids, she just let them gravitate to which one worked with them best. And it was amazing. And these kids, half of them don't talk. So the kids will find what works with them if you allow it.
now we noticed in our restraints that we have a small place that we bump the kids into when they're going off, and if we have to restrain them, and it's a small space, and we notice their need to push, and that pressure, and so I mean it's about half of them do it, and I'd never seen it before, so very 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 interesting. We have another kid that uses a stress ball when he's trying. we teach him the breathing, all this other kind of stuff. Of course, his breathing, that sounds like that. But he has to have a squeeze ball. Of course, I've talked to him about his fingernails, looks like a girl. And he goes
Those are weapons.
Exactly, goes to squeezing, and he's cutting himself in the palms of his hands, whatever. But that squeeze, and he knows to ask for it. He knows it'll make him more anxious if he doesn't have one.
Can I tell my story real quick?
Yes.
Okay. So we were doing a time ode, and that's a whole nother workshop, and want y'all to do it if you can. Administration has to be on board 100%. I come and do the centers because they're usually very violent. And, but anyway, I had this student that she was talking about, and in his art, paperwork, it doesn't have to be arted, but this particular child, it was arted that he needed to have. That was one of the things he needed. And he recognized that, and he had no problem if anybody knew he needed that. Well, I come in a situation, and we're doing a time ode, and he is, he's grabbing the table. Let me get rid of that one because I was going to squish out my hand. He's grabbing the table and he's like, oh, like this, and I'm just like, I don't know where my mind was. I'm like, I just want compliance. I'm just going to sit there. He tells me he needs a squeeze ball. I said, I just need you to sit down right now, and that's not what he needs you to hear. Okay, so no matter how experienced you are in behaviors, you're going to make mistakes. And I made a mistake that day because he did sit down, he did comply. And I guess Penny, I don't even remember how that squeeze ball got in my hand, but before it did, he sat down, he reared up, and he did his head down into that table. Goose knot right here, this big. I mean, I'm telling you, it went, whoa, like that. It hurt. It hurt. He had tears in his eyes. That is how bad he needed that stress ball. Gave him that stress ball, and he was still mad, but he took it out.
And I'm like this. Serves you right. Bad choice. But I mean, that's on the inside, not saying that on the outside.
I made a child hurt himself. That was
What
my
age
fault.
was that child that he knew that he needed it? that
Sixth
bad?
grade. Sixth grade. But the thing is, somebody at his school, when he did his art, picked up on that. Thank God they did. Thank God they did. It wasn't a choice. He told me, he said, no, I want it in there. I need to have that. Your kids, you'll have kids, somebody will have it. I want one. Why do they get one? All right, here. If they abuse it, they don't need it. Also, can I tell you about the rules?
The rules for
fidgets. The rules for fidget are, share this with anybody you know, any of your fellow teachers. Your fellow teachers. Needs to be in the non-dominant hand. It needs to be, I'm going to demonstrate. Well, my chair. This is not a you are in trouble chair. This is
This was an example for y'all chair.
and it's also one of those that they just need to be away. Fidget in the non-dominant hand, because we write, I don't want them to stop. Write with whatever your dominant hand is. It needs to be under the desk. If they're not writing, there's no problem with both hands being under the desk, but it needs to stay in the non-dominant hand. Under the desk, if I see it above the desk, if I see this, if it's out here like this, it's mine. Because
If
it is
she hears
destructive.
it, if
I
she
hear it,
smells it, it is her.
it is mine. Let's say we're writing, and we teach our kids to hold their paper, right? Okay, there is no reason they cannot hold that paper like this and write. They can actually take a break from it, put it in their lap, not on their desk. Had a situation last day of school that happened. That was not a good thing. But anyway, if I see it, it's mine. There are different types of stress balls. Some are furry, some are soft, some are squishy, some are hard.
It's a sensory
It
thing.
is a sensory. Some of those I can't see how anybody would want that stress ball because it has that hard one that has hard knobs. That would just drive me crazy. But you know what? Somebody needs that or they wouldn't be producing them, right? This, I use this in a sensory play, off-time thing. I do not let the kids use this in school. It is squishy. Find a ball. This will squeeze out of their hands and pop on the floor and pop up on the floor, and it's mine. Then they get upset. I love it. I like it. I love to roll it. I love, like roll it like this. I have one at home that when I'm watching TV, because I have ADHD and I haven't taken my medication. So if I'm talking nonstop, that's one of the reasons why. I just forgot. Anyway, I like to roll it. I roll, and that is very soothing to me. But where is it?
I'm not distracted by it one bit. I'm listening, I'm having a good time, and I'm hearing everything you're saying. But guess what? My movement is bothering somebody else, I'm sure. If I did this all during a class period, that would be distracting.
Well, and you know, you need to be aware of the kids' learning styles. And doodlers may very well be paying attention to you. I am an audio learner, and so I have a hard time looking at you while you're presenting. I'm at church on Sunday, and we go a couple hours at church, and I don't look at the speaker. And I look down, and I got my little coloring book. Matter of fact, they got me a table set up at church, and I can tell you everything that was said. Those cool little nuggets that I want to remember. I got those written all around the border, and so I just like that movement. I used to cross stitch before I went blind, and I can go throughout my home or my mother-in-law's home, and I can tell you the movie I was listening to when I was doodling. You will know if a doodler is legit or not. You just have to ask a few questions. If they can tell you about what, the gist of what you're talking about, if you ask them a question, then it's legit. If they can't answer your questions, then it's not legit. I had a kid, my very first, second year to teach, and when he did his math work, he had to do, and I'm like, what are you doing? Give that up. It helped, I know it doesn't look like the Leave It to Beaver's classroom that I used to have my very first year, and let them be comfortable to learn. You got to give a little to get a little, So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a break for only about 7 minutes. And I'm going to unlock the doors down here so y'all can go through there.
Want to take pictures? Feel free to take
Yeah,
pictures.
it's not set up the way we want it to be set up yet. Leave that in the
I'll
back
put
of your
toilet
head.
tissue in the bathroom. I know that it was out for those that.
Take a snack, whatever. We'll get started with some more good stuff in just a few minutes.
Out the window.
Believe me, I'm right there with them.
Because he won't be at the church anymore.
But I can't remember her name. I think it was Walter. It wasn't Walter's.
There is a different way to teach, and you have to accept that there are other ways to teach besides, even in general education, besides what we're doing.
Oh, I'll go with you there.
And that's there's something with IEPs and stuff. We have a program in the school that generates relationships. And if we're not taking the curriculum, because we have one from the high school, we offer the IEP, and that's what we do with them. So you're at Coots? Yes, ma'am. Like it? Yeah. My department head is from Coots.
Oh, really?
They are leaders.
See, I'm not from there.
you're not?
I'm from Finette.
Oh,
And
really?
that's where I
Drive to Coots?
yeah.
Wow.
Or my boyfriend and his family, they're from Fort Navy. So when I stay with him, I drive. But it's about the same distance either way.
Is it really? Yeah.
But Coots is good school. It's a lot like Finette, smaller. But sometimes the drive is not actually very nice. So you get a little down. alone time,
Yeah, I'm 3 minutes from my house.
but.
Do you teach special ed?
My first year, I taught 5th grade English, and I didn't. My second year, I taught, social studies. And so, I mean, I did have, a few, but like they would have their own aid or whatever. And so, I'm doing the same thing again this year. So, I mean, I like it though.
See, I'm a general major. I'm moving to 7th grade reading this year. But I taught 8th grade. I normally teach 8th grade ELA, so I teach reading and writing. And I wanted to get away from teaching 2 subjects and just teach one. And I'm really a reading specialist, so I wanted to just teach reading. And but I teach most of our kids that are struggling readers. And so I don't. It's not so much that I teach the special ed kids, but my kids are still behavior issues. They're still, they're still struggling. They're still. I mean, I had 15 kids at one point last year that were in AD reading because of physical issues. So if there's a way that I can reach these kids in a way for them besides them, because I'm a teacher on my class. I mean, they never did it to me, but it was just the way that they did those teachers. How you doing, Mama?
I'm doing good. What about you? Having a good summer?
I am.
Yes.
Andrew just finished driver's ed with Coach Long.
Oh, how did it go?
It went fantastic. We did everything parent taught, and then we just had him drive with him. And Adrian was like so crazy about it, like didn't want to do it. And
That's Ellen.
but after he did it with him, he was like, Mom, I'm so glad that I drove with you. I'm so glad you made me do it. And
Was he nervous or anything?
at first he wasn't. He learned like a whole lot
That's
driving with
good.
me.
That's
And
good.
so he's really comfortable. But because he turned 16 the first week of school, but he will not get his license till October because I lost his Social Security card.
Oh.
So I already have an appointment for him in Woodville to get his driver's license. So
I'm gonna take a picture of something or something that might benefit us.
Okay.
When we get started, that way I won't forget.
That's good. Alan is like, yeah, okay. But this is not very interested, but he's still taking the online class and everything. And Alex has been helping him driving, and my husband. And I asked him, and not today. They're coming back today from a church camp. So we'll see if he.
did he go with Grace?
Yes, all 4 kids. The only one I have at home is Sebastian.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's probably nice. Well, we're still waiting to listen to these. Mayor hasn't gotten a leave date yet. Yeah, the military said that it could be 6 more months before they had a date for her to leave. Because she enlisted in May and they haven't
This
had-
May?
Yeah, and they haven't had a job available for her to go in for basic. So he picked jobs again on Friday and he said there still wasn't a job available for her. So she won't leave in August. So she's getting frustrated. We're getting frustrated. We're just kind of like,
So what is she going to?
Air Force. So she's just still working full time until.
No, but, yeah.
Something said it took a year for their kid to go.
What do they do meanwhile?
Just waiting.
Working
I mean, 'cause she's
doing
already-
something else, waiting.
She's already sworn in, so it's not like you've been back out of it or anything like that.
So she's ready to go.
Yes, and we're ready for her to go. I mean, I'm ready for her to get on,
Yes, yes, yeah. So you still, you middle school?
Yes, I'm switching grades. I'm gonna teach 7th grade reading this year. So I moved classrooms at the end of the year last year. And, yesterday I moved from that classroom to my new classroom. Andrew and Jaden and Jeffrey and Anthony all came up and
Help you
moved,
move it?
yeah, everything. And, Meredith, but the teacher that's left, she had been there for like 15 years. I mean, she'd been there for a long time.
In the new classroom that you're moving into?
Yes, and so she left quite a bit of stuff. So I kind of called out what I knew I was going to use. And then there's a pile of like stuff for student council. And Renita needs to come and pick it up. And I just noticed whenever I moved it to the front of the classroom.
It's gonna be 2nd grade.
But
Okay, so she and Evan will
it's
still
just-
be together.
I had everything organized to teach 8th grade again. But when this came up,
3rd grade one
I
is.
really, since reading is my thing, I want to teach just
Oh, you're
reading.
doing 3rd grade.
Special ed.
Awesome.
Well, Marcella and I, you're 8.
Yes.
Oh, well, wonderful.
I didn't know that. Did you know she's our new teacher?
No, nice to meet you.
I'm
Miss
Becky.
Marcella.
Jennifer.
Okay.
Well,
good.
Oh,
You have the 2 best aides you could have.
Everybody said wonderful things, but it's wonderful to meet you.
Oh, they just.
I want to
You're ready for real.
I'm very excited. I sent the a bunch of the stuff. I went up with and they said that I wouldn't even in the room set up the lounge area.
I had been in there.
So I was like, well, then definitely it'll come in handy if we set it up.
But we didn't have that many kids coming. So
You
so
will have a
yes.
handful this year.
So we'll have to,
Maybe
powwow about how to, everybody set it up, we'll see if we can space and that kind of thing.
Yes, yes.
So y'all are working with?
Yes.
You're gonna have fun here, I had to skip this year.
Yes.
Since you college, you're working most times.
I just got one suggestion. Oh, yeah. So you can be a first grade?
Well, we've been married 49 years, so we think a lot.
They're 3rd grade.
How do you stop? Your behavior.
Yeah, she's our new start grade 8. I mean, special ed, we just found out.
And what we didn't get.
My sister-in-law.
On their IEP.
My sister-in-law used to live
I was
there.
gonna tell you later, like when we talked about everybody being on the same page at the autism cover thing, she talked about sending out a mass email and talking about like, if you see us doing something, or please do not intervene, like we know what we're doing. And we sent it later, and so everybody was like, we did something, but we were like, it's not that, like, y'all keep coming up and we're ignoring something and trying to assist me, and I don't know.
We've got
And so,
Or you don't even know
I
where.
can't get it.
Sometimes y'all think you wanna do it.
I've had the grandkids go through it.
It's like,
yes.
And 3 is all right.
Yeah. I said, cause like, one of my kids would be on the floor and I'm not picking him up. Like, I know I could pick him up and give him the room, but I'm not doing it. And I would have people coming and going, and I'm like, I don't need your help, So we've decided that me, Rachel, and Marissa talked about it, and we're sending out an email at the beginning of the year going, do y'all do helps and others?
He said, I can go the back way.
It's in the co-op.
Okay, ladies.
Okay, can I say something?
Yeah, do
real
say
quick? Some questions. Quick question here, do we do workshops? We do it within our co-op, and again, CLC is a part of the behavior, so I go there.
We're talking about extending, y'all are our guinea pigs. We wanted to see
This
if
is our
what,
first.
if what we had to say was help, actual help to y'all.
So we are planning second steps, third steps, fourth steps. Now, Penny, we were talking in the kitchen. By the way, I just started a pot of coffee. If anybody wants coffee later, help yourself. Is that when we have the next workshop, we want to build from this one. And why don't we?
But we still want to offer this one to those who haven't
But
gotten
what
it
I'm
yet.
saying is that we do want to offer this next step because they're going to start this right away.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking we could probably email those that have attended
so that they can come to the next and build, and then we can do the other, start off, and do the same.
And how we think we
Are
can
y'all
do,
okay with that, if you're interested?
how we think we can do this, and I actually have some dates picked out. How we think we can do this is this. Kuntz is on a different academic calendar than Lumberton and Silsbee and West Hardin. And so we think we're on Kuntz's. We are now this year. We were on Lumberton's last year. It just didn't work out logistically. We're in Kuntz. We use some of their services. We have to stay on Kuntz's, or we're cooking and we're clean. Well, which we clean anyway. We're doing all of that ourselves. But when we had a diabetic kid, we needed their nursing. When we have emergencies we just need to be on their schedule. So, but they get the day off after the end of all of their 6 weeks as a teacher work day, or they can comp out for those days. And we're thinking those would be phenomenal, having them every 6 weeks, so we're gonna throw that out on the 31st and see if it flies up the flagpole.
So would it be during our work time?
It would be on your time while you were your principal would have to get you a sub.
Would that even be okay for us parents?
Oh,
Oh,
yes. Yes,
we'll have
that
to-
is one of the reasons they really, really were excited about us doing this, is that we wanted teachers and parents to be on the same page. We want them together. Jen,
So y'all go back and talk it up
not
too,
just
that's gonna help us, help, like I say, our
And you can share
mission,
this with your
we're in all
teacher
15
if
schools
you're-
and we
if you feel like
see
there's a
that need, and we honestly, we gotta help these kids. I mean, these kids are gonna be the ones running the
It's gonna
world
be just like this.
when I'm an old lady, and I'm gonna be scared. And I don't wanna have to be punitive and get my shotgun out. I'd like to be a little, Okay, so who uses PBIS? As of right now, 20 positive behavior interventions and supports. Okay, so here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We're ready?
You ready? Okay. 23,363 schools and counting are registered. There's so many that are not registered, and that is from pbis.org. Anyone can use PBIS. Everyone should, even mommies and grandmothers. Even Sheldon.
Sunday schools.
I use it in my Sunday school class.
Camp.
You
PBIS is good for everybody.
Everything.
You and your husband.
Exactly. Hey,
I'm just saying.
hey. Even Sheldon uses PBIS.
And we all love us some Sheldon. We all have Sheldons.
Okay, don't worry
It's
about it.
over. Is it
Nope,
over?
but that's okay, I got it backed up. I know what I'm doing, okay?
Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and jump ahead because of time, and we've done this for the last 2 days. PBIS World, I'm gonna show you a snippet of PBIS World while she's getting, after lunch. And every campus except for Silsbee, do we have Silsbee people here? Did I already ask that? Okay, Silsbee, I will come to you and give it to you if you want it. You just need to email me or text me, okay? PBIS World, are you ready?
We'll be in
Okay,
business.
PBIS World is going to be your friend. Every campus, I've already 2 years ago distributed that and gave it to all of your administration on their desktops, your counselors, and anybody else. I thought maybe your lead teachers may have had it, but we have a site. I went ahead and Ms. Kane allowed me to get a license to share, and but they may not have trickled down. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to make sure that you have one since you participated in this and you understand it. So I will come to you and download that on your desktop or email it to you and explain how to get there, or I need to come to Silsbee. You'll have to remind me though, okay? I keep the program in my car at all times. So if it's in the middle of the day and I have a free minute, I will come to you. But it will tell you, and I'll show you how you will live by this, okay, if you choose to use it.
Well, thank you. How thoughtful.
You need
Would you like a chocolate?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Oh, sorry, Sheldon, I almost got in your spot.
Did you? I didn't notice. Have a chocolate. Chocolate?
Yes, please. Oh. Hey, Kim. Yeah. You know what? Hold on. Let me take this in the hall. You'll never guess who they got to a place to go for.
Okay. I know what you're doing. Really? Yes. You're using chocolates as positive reinforcement for what you consider correct behavior. Very good. Sheldon, you can't train my girlfriend like a lab rat. Actually, it turns out I can. Well, you shouldn't. There's just no pleasing you, is there, Leonard? You weren't happy with my previous approach to dealing with her, so I decided to employ operant conditioning techniques, building on the works of Thorndike and B.F. Skinner. Yet by this time next week, I believe I can have her jumping out of a pool, balancing a beach ball on her nose. Tweaking her personality, is sanding off the rough edges, if you will. No, you're not sanding any. Are you saying that I am forbidden from applying a harmless, scientifically valid protocol that will make our lives better? Yes, you're forbidden. Bad, Leonard.
That's what I feel like I do.
It's gonna
It's not
Yeah,
paid for it.
exactly. Do this and I'll do this else.
Oh, maybe not. What was the other one?
Oh,
How many of y'all have explained an unexpected behavior, and later down the road you tell that child, I have told you how to do this, da da da. I have shown you how to do this. How many of y'all have taught a concept of writing a persuasive paragraph? How many times have you taught them?
What?
How many times do you review it?
Several times.
Throughout the year, how many times do you have to refer back?
Several times.
Same with behavior. Don't expect they get it that first time. It's gotta be reinforced and reinforced and reinforced and reviewed and reviewed and reviewed, just like your academics.
Do you catch something the first time? I'm still trying to learn how to crochet. And I started when I was like 9 years old.
It is an ongoing process. It is ongoing. If you find yourself telling a student, I don't know why you're doing this, you need to stop doing this, I've already showed you how to do this, I've already told you how to do this, you know better than this. That is part of our rules. That means that just like that persuasive paragraph, they're missing something. How many times do we say, after we get a certain grade back and your principal says reteach? We don't want the principal to have to tell you to reteach.
You can have
You can
processing issues, long-term memory, short-term memory issues. There's just such a variety of things.
Right.
And, it's just part of it. Okay, so this is veterans. No, this one's not.
Oh, it's not.
No.
No, it's the other.
This is still a good one,
Sorry,
though.
second pass.
Okay, so we're gonna do this. You and I are gonna do this. I've been thinking about it. We call ourselves
do
bad
this.
girls. We had to come up with something funny, because we're silly like that. Behavior
Usually
adjustment
when our
divas.
administrators, our bosses think of us, they think
Bad.
they
girls,
do. They just do.
So anyway, these schools have gone as far as to making some videos that they teach. They use to teach kids the very first school, but they also review it all throughout school. One of the cool things that PBI research shows is that if you need to take pictures of your kids doing good things, like going to the water fountain. This is the appropriate way you go to the water fountain. Put that picture above the water fountain with the procedures for using it, appropriate procedures. Same in the bathroom, washing their hands. 2 squares or whatever. If you do have the brown, we used to tell them 2 squares. Happy birthday to me, for washing their hands. Anyway, what I'm saying is, what did you call that video? What? Yesterday? What it was called?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, when you take pictures of them and put them up.
Oh, video modeling.
And so it's great to have just in the library reading a book. At the lunch table, maybe you could tell that they're not screaming in the lunch. At the lunch table, just pictures all over the place, getting caught doing good things.
Can you pause it? Pause it. With that being said, think of that child that you evaluated this morning, that y'all did the assessment on. If that child, and I'm thinking high school, because this is one of my most common ones, they're always late to class, they're doing something else, being somewhere that they're not supposed to be, and they're walking in my class late every day. I'm going to talk to that student, I'm going to explain why I need them there on time. And not only that, I'm going to get them to volunteer somehow, some way. I'm going to work it to where, you know what, you're not the only one that I need to get this across to. Would you mind letting me take a picture of you looking at your watch going like this? Oops, 06, okay, go like this. And I'm going to take it to my poster printer and I'm going to print it. And it's going to have her picture. And she's going like this as a reminder. And I'm going to put that up in my room. I'm going to ask permission, can I do this? That's not going to just help you, it's going to help a lot of people. Well, do you think I'm going to have a problem with her very much anymore? I've invested her in that behavior that I need, that behavior of I need you back here on time. So then that way she comes in and goes, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm just going to go. You're my role model. I need to be on time. Just the more you invest in them, they're going to invest in you. Okay, that's it.
Teachers did this. They must have an awesome tech department. Oh, they use their kids. Apparently they're the bears.
I love this. There you go. Not only does the teacher know, the AP know about PBIS, the kids know.
Got the custodians involved. They're some of your best helpers. Oh, look at that. Greeting your children at the doors every day is so important.
And make it fun. Make that door entrance fun.
And you say, oh, that's fine, but I got high school kids. Well, let me show you this.
While she's getting that, went to go visit a friend of mine who was up in Dallas, her classroom, high school room, and I was amazed. English is not my thing. Y'all find that out when I give you my stuff. Anyway, she she taught 6 classes. It was about 25 in each class. Every one of them, she stood at that door. She had a different hand welcoming thing for every child. I said, how did you do that? And she goes, they'll teach you. They'll teach you. We started out with a high five. Then I said, okay, hey, what do you want to do instead? I mean, she was doing all kinds of twirling stuff. One of the girls, I just remember, because the minute I looked at this teenage girl, I read, she's a cheerleader. She's one of those, cheerleaders. Like, they have that look, you know them. And one of the things that they did this little hand take, and they ended up like this, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But that was only her. That was the connection between her and that child. She had it before they walked into her room. She connected with every child before they entered. So think about things like that. One-on-one, you've got kids going in a inclusion classroom, you can do that too. This is it, right? Okay. I might start dancing, I'm sorry.
Bright, sunshiny morning. It's the first day in school. I love trying to wake up your kids as we begin a new school year.
That's a principal. One's a principal and a teacher, right?
No, they're both teachers.
Both teachers.
They got some kind of tech department for sure. I can tell they got some money too, you know, just by their facilities.
There he is.
Isn't that cute?
Is that on YouTube?
The little freshman.
Guys, we got the opportunity to go to Hutto, Texas, and I'm telling you,
Sorry, I'm trying to find.
if you've never been to Hutto, I didn't even know what Hutto was. Hutto, Texas probably has the most pride of any place I've ever been. They were proud to be Hutto hippos. Oh my gosh, we saw hippos at the Walmart. They were statues.
In every business, McDonald's,
Every
a lot like
restaurant.
Jacksonville and the tomatoes, if you've ever seen the
I don't think I saw an
tomatoes.
establishment that did not have a hippopotamus outside.
Painted all kinds of different ways,
Big
you know.
hippopotamus. If you're on my Facebook, I have one where I'm like a cowgirl. doing it. Well, it was a long day. It was a long day. But we can't control what's going school-wide. We can't control what's going district-wide. But you can control what's going on in your environment.
I guess it started. This is the same two guys. This video is not as cool as that last one, but I could see it starting with this. This is more amateur.
They got better, just like us.
Right.
We practice and we practice and we get better.
Hey guys, welcome back. Alright guys, hope you had a really good summer. We gotta get going. Let's go.
Typical high school class.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta start it up. I know we're just done with summer. We gotta get going now. Alright, this isn't working. We gotta try something else.
I thought he was gonna dial 911.
Fire office, this is Mr. Hine. Mr. Hine, we have a situation. Alright, dude, I'm on my way. Hey, what's up? I'm still stuck in summer when I can't get on to listen. Did you play the song yet? I don't know. It's the first day of school. Do you think it's ready? Just hit play. Just hit play.
This didn't appeal to me because the music didn't, but it does the kids. that little freshman. Okay, I have one last to show you, and it's basically just simply a review. Okay, so that is a little overview. All you have to do is go to YouTube and put in PBIS, or Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports, and you're gonna get all kinds of things. Before you pass those out, Connie, let me give them that little resource guide overview.
Oh, sure.
And you're gonna get a lot of stuff. We're not gonna go over this, but page 5, you can read it. It's really cool. You can set PBIS just I'm sorry. You can set up PBIS just like you do RTI, except for academics, it's for behavior. And we won't go into all of that, but page 5 has a full page of different resources and stuff that you may want to refer to. Got it?
Thanks, Lindsay.
I got a funny story you keep saying about the bathroom and doing 2 pumps and
Uh-huh.
the pigtails. One of the little boys I dealt with this year, I'd go in and he had a bad habit of going and you know, it would be this long paper towels. And I'd say 2 pumps for them, you know. And he goes, Pittman,
Careful because they'll
is
fall
2
out.
your favorite number? And I said, yes it is.
It's a good one. Well, and I also want you to know, I'm gonna go back to my PowerPoint.
Guys, real quick, you're getting this folder, and I did not have, y'all are very important to me, but I'm sorry, it was like 2:30 when I went to bed the other night.
And if you could just open it up, it's in order. If you'll put it into your brads. Did you have enough, Lindsay? Yes, ma'am. Okay, and I'm missing one here.
Okay, when I was working on my master's degree, we had to do a research paper, and mine had to do with dropouts. And my thesis, well, I mean, my hypothesis was totally off. When I got into it, what I saw was that the number one reason why students drop out of school is because they don't think their teachers care about them, especially Hispanic girls, where that's the highest. Okay, we've said this before. We love flipping. We love capturing kids' hearts. But Connie and I both attended, and their motto is, before you can capture their head, you must capture their heart. Okay, so is your classroom environment safe and inviting? You got to be uber organized, clean, neat, orderly. It tells you that in that little research guide thing, or resource guide I gave you. Classroom expectations clearly posted. Classroom procedures clearly posted. Student work displayed. Brain-based music for transitions and working independently. Emergency procedures thoroughly taught and reviewed often. We let that fall by the wayside so much. And then, you know the song, I'm not going to play it, Don't Bring Me Down by ELO. Research tells us that for every negative comment, remark we make to a child, or an adult for that matter, you've got to bring them up by 4 positive comments.
Can you say that again?
For every negative,
No, you're right. I just want to hear it again.
Every negative remark you make, you've got to a student, you've got to give them 4 more positives to overcome that negative. Does that make sense? See if that song works.
I wouldn't go either.
Okay. So do y'all have any questions before we break for lunch? Man, it's the first time we got that far.
I know,
And all that talking that we
was
did.
just
Let's do some
Let's do some door prizes. But guys, listen, on that every negative, there are 4 positive. This can be a part of their positive. Your punch cards, that doesn't mean you're having, but scientifically proven, you must follow up with those positives. We forget. If it becomes a part of your routine day with every child, you're going to see a big improvement. Huge improvement.
We did the math. Yesterday. We have to give in our school with our 8 kids 1,600 affirmations. That's between all of our students every day. We check them every 15 minutes on 6 different items, behaviors, plus their 4 or 5 bit goals. And by the time we get through with the day, that's the least amount of positive comments that we have to have just on a daily basis, without any negative, things going on. It seems unrealistic, but it's not. It's not. Okay, door prizes. You roll.
Already got one roll. Already got one roll.
Oh, you got one roll? Okay, so let's do our bouncy band because we talked about our bouncy band.
Oh, great idea. Here you go, and lucky number 14. There is a 14 here, because I checked the 14. Yeah, you! Awesome, you. Remember, though, that you can also find good success with those exercise bands. And if you go to a therapist, they might get them going. You just ask. If it's free, it's for me. That's just all I'm going to ask then.
Okay, and because we want you to be uber organized, they get organized personally. Here's a little planner. What you got?
It's gorgeous.
Oh, well, and you can color.
The doodler in you. It is number 17. do we have a 17? That's you, but you are number 17.
All right, bam. Okay, let's see. Uber organized. Well, just the timers,
All right,
4 timers.
We have got 22. It's not here, guys. If you know somebody that did not come, tell them they want a prize and they didn't get it. They want a door prize and it went to somebody else. That, I always want to hide it. Why do I want to do that? 6. We have a 6. Awesome.
There you go.
Guys, I suggest you use timers in almost everything you do. Time. The kids are getting used to it.
Oh, keep yourself on a track. And you see how many squirrels Connie and I have been chasing. And so, I mean, even for our own selves. So, hey, let's try that next time.
What?
Like chunk our presentation.
Sounds great.
And then, yeah, because you know me and our story. You and me, you know, we're crazy. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
All right.
So, lunch. Are you ready for lunch?
No, they're not. I got 4 minutes. We are in my time. Okay. When we come back from lunch, it's going to be very intense. Okay. We've had a fun time. We've kind of done this. Now it's time. Okay, we're going to buckle down. But I'm giving you the resources in your booklets. And if you're missing a page, because it's 203, to be at the other line. Don't worry, just look up, I'll have it, we'll look up and I'll make sure you get it before you go. Okay, I want to make sure that you're leaving with the material that you need. What I do ask, since we have 3 minutes, I should have said this before you put those brads in there. And you can do it when you come back, I don't care. But there are 4 colored pages that have scenarios on them. They're very clearly marked scenarios. You see it's a very small font and it's down. When you get back, if you will just go ahead and pull those 4 out, or as many as you see. I think there's 4 that are colored pages. Please undo your brads and take them out. And the reason why is I end up running out of time. We're going to do those first before I get into the manipulatives that I'm sharing with you, okay? It's going to be very scripted. Bear with me. You can close your eyes. Yesterday I had a couple of ladies that just put their head down and listen. And sometimes just don't go to sleep. You're going to have a lot of carbs in you, and I want you to drink coffee. I want you to drink sugar stuff. Because when you come back, we're going to really buckle down.